When dawn was about to break, the large group of little night devils suddenly dispersed. No one knew why they would all fly away before daybreak, but these night devils were not afraid of the light at all. When dawn was about to break, the large group of little night devils suddenly dispersed. No one knew why they would all fly away before daybreak, but these night devils were not afraid of the light at all. If it's daylight, they're not that powerful. Once the sunlight shines on them, they'll turn into mist. Bai Yu said, "My master tried it all those years ago, and even the Night Devil King would not dare to appear in broad daylight." "Then, do you know where they are hiding?" Chen Xiang asked. "Deep underground." This made Chen Xiang think of the group of Earth's core race in the dragon vein. They couldn't appear during the daytime, so if the sunlight shone on them, they would die. Could it be that these Night Devil and the others are the same, cursed? Chen Xiang had doubts in his heart, because the births of these Night Devil had always been a mystery. When the sky brightened, everyone breathed a sigh of relief, because they hadn't suffered any losses from last night. Those who had died were only those who had followed them. Chen Xiang turned into a fly and followed behind these hundreds of thousands of people. Right now he was extremely safe. Even if something powerful suddenly appeared, it would be directed at the group of people in front. He followed this group of people because he wanted to find the route marked on the map to enter the Night Devil more safely. If that route was safe, he wouldn't need to follow this group of people. They had already reached the Night Devil side last night, and today, they would definitely head deeper into the Night Devil Now that we are inside the Night Devil it will not be as safe as it was before. There are dangers everywhere inside. Bai Yu said. Right now, she felt that the inside of the forest was extremely dangerous, because it was extremely quiet inside the dense fog. After going over 2 mountains, it was already noon. On the summit of the mountain just now, Chen Xiang checked the terrain ahead, making him curious. He used the Chaos Divine Eye to look through the dense white fog, but he did not see the outline of the mountain. Seems to be close. Chen Xiang was suddenly excited, because on the map, there was a large piece of flat land, and it was very close to a safe route. Now that he knew where he was on the map, it was very easy for him to reach the safe route, so he did not need to follow the group of people in front. "There's movement," Long Shui said. "The people in front have stopped. The ground is shaking. It seems like there is a large group of things charging over." Chen Xiang looked at the ground and noticed that the ground had traces of slightly trembling. There was dense fog all around, and they couldn't see what was in front of them. Furthermore, they were on a flat land and the mountains were all around. If something were to rush over, it might very well be beasts, because Night Devil only appeared at night. "It's a beast tide. This group of people are in trouble. I think more than half of them will die," Long Shui said. Chen Xiang immediately used his Chaos Divine Eye. Through the clouds, he could see many dense groups of people running towards him, like a tide. They were extremely turbulent and crazy. The way they ran caused the ground to shake. The countless beasts suddenly roared at the same time, causing the roars to shake the earth, scaring many people to the point that their faces turned pale, because they knew that this thing that came over was different from the little Night Devil from last night. Although those little Night Devils were only in the intermediate stage of the worldly immortal stage, they were extremely afraid of the power of the devil-suppressing divine palace. However, there were many giant beasts rushing over at this moment. Furthermore, there were even a few very powerful auras. It seemed that these were not only ordinary giant beasts, but also powerful beast kings and beast kings. "Hurry to the safe route," Su Meiyao said. There were at least a few 100,000 of them. They had obviously been waiting here for a long time, and the moment someone stepped in, they would immediately rush over in a grandiose manner. Chen Xiang floated in the air and changed back into his human form. Then, He activated Chaos Divine Eye to its limit and looked at the mountain in front of him. There was a large mountain next to this gourd-shaped mountain, and within this mountain there would be a small crack, just big enough for two people to walk through side by side. It was unknown if it was formed naturally, or if someone had intentionally dug it, but in short, the deep crack was very safe, the beast would be difficult to attack, and it would not be easy to be discovered. Chen Xiang immediately flew towards the entrance of the safe route. Not long after he flew, the sounds of a great battle came from behind him, accompanied by intense beast roars. Even the flying Chen Xiang had been greatly affected, causing his speed to become much slower. Wow, even Dragon Emperor and Dragon Emperor joined the battle. No wonder elder sister Yu Yu's master was so heavily injured that year. Night Devil H.E.L. L is indeed very powerful, Long Shui said in shock. Chen Xiang could also sense the auras of the Dragon Emperor and the Phoenix King. For them to make a move, it must be because a very strong Beast King had arrived, and it was not only one of them. Chen Xiang took half an hour to distance himself from the battlefield. At the moment, he was completely unaffected, and his speed had increased by a lot. Almost there. Chen Xiang increased his speed and used the power of the spatial laws to teleport. Not long after, he saw the small crack on the mountain before him. If it wasn't for his good eyesight, he probably would have seen it too. Now, he also discovered a strange phenomenon. The area he was in actually no longer had that white fog, which allowed him to clearly see the scenery in front of him. There's someone. Chen Xiang was shocked. She thought that he could see them clearly, that was why he could see the people in front of him. It's that Phoenix Princess. No wonder I couldn't sense her aura earlier. I didn't expect her to already be here. Long Shui said. And He Feng. The others should be sent by the big powers. I never would have thought that they also know where this safe entrance is. Could it be that there are a lot of maps? Chen Xiang sensed that something was wrong, because this person was here and he had obviously already known about it. Look at that map carefully. There are many forks in the road. Perhaps the forks in the road on their map are different. Perhaps yours is the most correct. Long Shui said. Phoenix Princess, He Feng and the rest did not fight with the group of beasts, but instead came here. They're fighting. He Feng is actually fighting with the Phoenix Princess. Long Shui was shocked. Phoenix Princess was in existence similar to Prince Imperial Dragon, but right now, he was actually provoked by a prince of Myriad Dan immortal country. Chen Xiang had become a small flying insect again, and no one entered the crack yet. The young experts that came here all looked to be better, they did not immediately enter, but chose to fight instead. Chen Xiang had become a small flying insect again, and no one entered the crack yet. The young experts that came here all looked to be better, they did not immediately enter, but chose to fight instead. Seems like many forces have joined together to deal with this Phoenix Princess. I'm afraid that this Phoenix Princess will not be able to enter that crevice. Long Shui said. Chen Xiang looked at the mountains on both sides of the crevice. The mountains were so tall that one couldn't see the top, and if he wanted to reach the summit of these mountains, it would definitely be difficult. Look up. Long Shui said. Chen Xiang immediately looked above the Phoenix Princess. A cyclone actually appeared, and Phoenix Princess also seemed to be locked on top of it, making it difficult to leave this region. Although that He Feng was powerful, she was very afraid of the fire rings in her hands. It's the Heavenly Dragon Seal. It's being used by the Imperial Dragon Clan. It's actually 2 against 1. It's not 2 against 1, but to group up and beat this Phoenix Princess. Look at the young experts of the other forces, they are all ready to make a move. Long Shui said. Chen Xiang looked at the dozens of men and women in front of the crevice. They had all taken out their immortal swords and treasures, and were all together. The Heavenly Dragon Seal descended and directly struck Phoenix Princess. The locked-on Phoenix Princess was hit squarely in the face, and her reaction was also timely. Her arm had turned into a giant flaming wing, using her flaming phoenix wings to block part of the attack, but she spat out a small mouthful of blood. Let's go. Looking at her special innate chi surname, she should be from the Divine Wind Heavenly Kingdom, which means she was Feng Clan S of the Tong Tian aristocratic family. As she shouted, a group of young experts holding on to their immortal swords rushed towards Phoenix Princess. Help her. She helped you before, Long Shui said. She also could not bear to see such bullying. I know, I'm waiting for an opportunity. Chen Xiang was very clear about his own strength. If he was surrounded by those young warriors, it would be very difficult for him to deal with them. Phoenix Princess was currently very angry. If she fought alone, she would definitely win, but she did not expect to be ambushed by Imperial Dragon Clan's Heavenly Dragon Seal, and there were still more than 10 young experts from other forces plussing towards her, blocking her escape as though they wanted to kill her. Imperial Feather Race and He Peiqing, the new king, had always been at odds, and it was normal for the two to be surrounded and attacked. She was a phoenix, so her body was incomparably precious. Even the holy dragon of an Imperial Dragon Clan couldn't compare to her. Phoenix Princess was very strong. Facing the onslaught of so many people, although he was severely injured, he could still hold on. His entire body was covered in raging flames as he controlled the dual rings in his hands to attack the young experts around him. Chen Xiang had already snuck near the Phoenix Princess. He was currently only a few hundred meters away from the Phoenix Princess. He had to endure the shock waves of the battle and get closer to it little by little, so that he would not be discovered. You shameless things are all from prestigious families. I didn't expect you guys to do such a thing. At this time, she was already covered in wounds. If not for the phoenix blood which allowed her to regenerate, she would have been taken down long ago. You can't let us who are not part of this alliance enter this path. Even faster, you are the Imperial Feather Race, you have once prevented my royal father from ascending the throne, and you, the Imperial Feather Race, brought this upon yourself. As He Feng was speaking, that Imperial Dragon Clan unleashed another Heavenly Dragon Seal, and it was a Flash Dragon's punishment for this sudden attack. The severely injured Phoenix Princess was suddenly struck by lightning and cried out. Her entire body felt numb, and she was unable to use her powers for a moment, causing her to fall from the sky. I want your Phoenix Elixir. He Feng laughed out loud. He dove down from the sky and chased after Phoenix Princess, the immortal sword in his hand piercing towards Phoenix Princess. Just as Phoenix Princess was about to lose all hope, she suddenly saw He Feng's wildly laughing face suddenly freeze, followed by the appearance of a ray of cyan light. She only saw a beautiful cyan arc appear, accompanied by the sound of a resounding dragon cry. Green Dragon Demon Slain Broadsword. Although Chen Xiang was quick to retract his blade, anyone would be able to catch the mighty green dragon blade body, and the overbearing aura that was filled with might immediately allowed people to recognize the blade. Chen Xiang, who suddenly appeared, cut off He Feng's arm and took away his arm and the immortal sword. It was not the first time someone cut off He Feng's arm and stole the sword, but the second time. Previously, it was also Chen Xiang who did it, but he did not know that it was Chen Xiang. Chen Xiang cut off He Feng's arm and traveled downwards, grabbing onto Phoenix Princess's body. Stepping on the shrinking step and using the spatial travel, he managed to enter the crevice in a few moments. After entering, he threw out a few more destruction ice seal Dan and froze this path. Soon after, Long Shui also appeared. He smashed the two sides of the crack behind Chen Xiang. They wanted to block the road. Chen Xiang was running very fast in the crevice, but Long Shui was able to release a powerful divine ability from inside the ring, causing the two walls to shake violently and causing a large amount of huge rocks to fall. Phoenix Princess only saw Chen Xiang's sudden appearance before he fainted. At this time, Chen Xiang was still carrying him, running frantically through the crevice. After 3 days and 3 nights Pas said, Chen Xiang was very safe inside the crevice, and along the way, Long Shui was in charge of blocking the way. As for how he was going to get out, that was a matter of the future, and the most important thing was to make sure that he wasn't being hunted down right now because his ident. 1. Tai had already been exposed, and there was still the group of experts from Dragon Emperor that was behind him. Phoenix Princess was heavily injured, but Chen Xiang was not worried about her. Her recovery rate was much better than Ji Meixian's, and in the past 3 days, he could feel that the injuries in her body had recovered a lot. I can't stop yet, at least in 10 days. Although Dragon Emperor and the rest of the people are fighting with the ancient beasts, but He Feng and the other little ghosts can't be underestimated. Long Shui said. Chen Xiang had been running inside the crack for 2 days, and it was very dark inside. On both sides were 30,000 meters high stone walls. There's a fork in the road, the leftmost one. Su Meiyao said. She had already memorized the map and was following the route on the map. Then, I won't be blocking the way. Long Shui also stopped blocking the road behind him, and there were 4 paths here. After 5 more days, Chen Xiang had been running frantically in the crevice for 10 days. The Phoenix Princess had already woken up, but she was still weak, and currently, Chen Xiang was carrying her on his back and running hard. Although Chen Xiang was running very fast, it was very smooth and did not make her uncomfortable. Thank you, Phoenix Princess whispered into Chen Xiang's ear. She, who was extremely weak, was speaking with a very soft voice while spitting out an orchid. Feeling that someone was blowing next to his ear, Chen Xiang's heart slightly trembled. You're welcome. You helped me before too, but now we owe each other nothing. Chen Xiang said. So the person who used the stone tablet to hit the night devil was you. Phoenix Princess suddenly understood. Chen Xiang was indeed quite weak, but she had a lot of methods up her sleeve, otherwise he wouldn't have been able to save her. Don't talk, take good care of your body, Chen Xiang said in a low voice. Yes. Phoenix Princess replied softly as he placed one side of his face on Chen Xiang's shoulder and fell asleep very quickly. If she wasn't so weak right now, Chen Xiang really wanted to ask her about this crevice because she, Imperial Dragon Clan and those people from the big powers all knew about it. Chen Xiang traveled for a few days and discovered that there would be forks in the road every so often. There were 4 of them every time. If not for the map, he would not even know which one he would have chosen. However, Chen Xiang was still carrying her on his back, because her internal injuries were still very severe. Although walking and running was no longer a problem, it could not be used in large amounts, and her speed would not be too fast either. Right now, Chen Xiang did not dare to slow down, as he was worried that the Dragon Emperor behind him would catch up. Are you better now? Chen Xiang asked. It's much better now. Put me down. Phoenix Princess said gently, with a smile on his face. No, you can't run fast now. What if the Dragon Emperor catches up to you? That guy hates me to death, and if he knows I'm here, he would chase after me without caring about anything else, Chen Xiang said. When Chen Xiang ran on the shrinking step, it was as if his entire person was walking on a great river. He moved forward quickly along with the smooth flow of the water, and didn't feel any BUMPS like when he was running. According to the PISS of those BASTARDS, I reckon when they saw your father, they would even fabricate a lie saying that I kidnapped you and then your father would work together with the Dragon Emperor to open up a path, Chen Xiang said. Phoenix Princess let out a light sigh. She was very clear about Chen Xiang's current situation. Previously, her father Phoenix had also had the idea of stealing Chen Xiang's divine blade or something similar from him. Who asked you to kill that Prince Imperial Dragon as well as that Sacred Dragon's clan's Fu Dan Immortal? It would be weird if Dragon Emperor doesn't hate you to death. Phoenix Princess said, You're really bold. That idiot Prince Imperial Dragon always wanted to kill me, and he really met a good opportunity to kill me, but he looked down on me too much, and I killed him in a few moves. Chen Xiang laughed. If you were like that Prince Imperial Dragon who treats me well, when the time comes, I would act a little more softly against you. Do I look like that kind of bastard to you? The Phoenix Princess said with bitterness. Who knows? In short, I need to be on guard against anyone who doesn't know how they died. Chen Xiang was indeed on guard against the Phoenix Princess, so he left all of them in Long Xue's charge. How did you get here? And you seem to know the way. Phoenix Princess also had this question in his heart. I was about to ask you, you royal birds, does Imperial Feather Race have a map? Chen Xiang asked. But that map is not complete. Only a small part of it, combined with the Imperial Dragon Clan, Fire Divine Palace, Devil Suppressing Divine Palace, and those forces that have the power of heaven and earth, can obtain half of the complete map. As for this complete map, it has already been printed all over the streets, but there is no route. The Phoenix Princess said. So it's like that. Then do you remember the route? Draw it for me to see. Chen Xiang said. He wanted to see if the route was the same. Every major power had kept a small fragment of their map. Phoenix Princess took out a piece of paper from his storage bag and handed it over to Chen Xiang. Phoenix Princess took out a piece of paper from his storage bag and handed it over to Chen Xiang. It's different from the safe route on your map. I don't know where they will go, even the destination is different. Could it be that the map their ancestors left behind also contains treasures? Su Meiyao saw through it with a glance. At the first fork in the road, Chen Xiang took the leftmost path, while the one on the map of the Phoenix Princess took the rightmost path. Is it the same as yours? At this time, Chen Xiang also stopped. If it was different, they would not have caught up, because in the eyes of the group of people, the road they were walking on was probably the one they were walking on. It's not the same. Chen Xiang shook his head. Phoenix Princess frowned. Then, is the road you're taking dangerous? Do you see any danger along the way? This is only within the crevice. In the end, we still have to leave the crevice. It's hard to say when we go outside. The Phoenix Princess was worried. The depths of the night devil I was extremely terrifying. Even immortal kings could die without reason, let alone with their strength. Chen Xiang returned the map to the Phoenix Princess and said, I need to rest now. After running for so many days, I'm tired. And, do you need any medicinal pills? I have some with me that can help you recover faster. Phoenix Princess took out a small jade box. Not to mention that the other party had already said it over, so Chen Xiang directly accepted it with a smile. What pill is this? Chen Xiang received a pill that was as red as blood. He could not feel the spirit energy contained within the pill, and was unable to determine what rank it was. The Phoenix Blood Pill is formed from a large amount of Phoenix blood. After being processed, it is then preserved. The Phoenix Princess said, It will be of great help to the humans. Quickly eat it. Even Long Xue wanted to try it. After Chen Xiang consumed it, the Phoenix Blood Pill melted in his body and immediately fused with his Jade Dragon blood, allowing it to quickly flow into his entire body. Originally, his body felt extremely tired, but now, he felt that his entire body was filled with energy. Phoenix Princess, this thing is very precious. Not only can it help people recover quickly, it also seems to be able to help people's blood and bones to have the special characteristic of Phoenix blood in the future. Chen Xiang had simulated a Jade Dragon blood before, so he knew that this could only be accomplished with a large amount of Phoenix blood. It's nothing. Phoenix Princess smiled sweetly. Call me Shuang, that's my name. Chen Xiang thought that the name of the Phoenix Princess was very similar to Shui. Phoenix Princess built a fire, her phoenix eyes stared straight at the dancing flames, no one knew what she was thinking, as though her heart was heavy. Shuang, what plans do you have for your injuries to be healed? I can't bring you to that place, it is very important to me, there must be danger there. Although my strength is not as strong as yours, but you can't compare to me. Chen Xiang said. I know. Otherwise, you would not be able to save me. In that situation, it would even be very difficult for me to escape. Of course, Phoenix Princess knew about Chen Xiang's ability to protect himself. When surrounded by Dragon Emperor and the other rankers, not only would they be able to safely escape, they would even lose out to and the others. I will return on the same path. My father will definitely enter this crack as well. I should be able to meet with him. Phoenix Princess had already made her decision. Just now, she had also eaten a Phoenix blood pill. Her complexion was already very good. It seemed that she had almost recovered. It was night now, and perhaps because the crevice was too deep and the mountains were on both sides of it, the voices of the night devil could not reach here. Shuang, in the future, can you become the Phoenix Emperor of the Imperial Feather Race? Chen Xiang smiled and said, I don't want to become your enemy. That's still far. My royal father only dares to call himself king, not as arrogant as the Dragon Emperor. He became an emperor before reaching that stage. Phoenix Princess chuckled. I don't want to become your enemy either. Speaking of which, I have to thank you again. Help me get rid of this loathsome Prince Imperial Dragon. If he doesn't die now, and his strength is on par with mine, according to his personality, he will definitely come looking for me to duel every day. Chen Xiang and Phoenix Princess chatted all the way until the daytime, and now she was in her best condition. We'll definitely meet again in the future. Take care. Phoenix Princess smiled and bid farewell to Chen Xiang. Until we meet again. After the Phoenix Princess left, Chen Xiang also continued on his way. It could be said that he was temporarily safe. Until the end of the road, he would not know. After all, the route on the map was from many years ago. Who knows if it was still the same as before. The next time I see her, I'll shamelessly ask her for a little phoenix blood. Adding your jade dragon blood that's the most impressive. Long Shui said. In the future, when your bloodline matures, it will be of great use to me. I wonder where that devil-killing summit is. Chen Xiang felt that he had already entered the depths of Night Devil Hell. He wanted to find that devil-killing summit on his way. Su Meiyao and Bai Yuyu also wanted to. If they could find the young master that knew how to refine pills in the devil-killing summit, they would be able to quickly recover to their previous peak strength. But that was easier said than done. Their master's strength could even cause heavy injuries. Even if Chen Xiang had the powerful ability to escape, it would still be useless here. Even my master doesn't know about this. If he had known back then, he wouldn't have returned with heavy injuries. If he wanted to find the devil-killing summit, he would need to be led by someone from the devil-killing summit, or else don't even think about it. Su Meiyao said. Most of the experts who claim to be from the devil-killing summit have never been to the devil-killing summit, but they did receive the devil-killing summit's inheritance, such as your master, that old lunatic, and us senior and junior sisters. From the route drawn on the map, it seemed like there was a long way to go, almost to the center of Night Devil Hell. Wasn't this the sacred beast's ancient realm? Why did it become the Night Devil Hell? I wonder if the sacred beast's ancient realm is still here, if there are still holy beasts inside. Chen Xiang looked at the map. The last destination of the route was a very big valley. Probably not. No one knows what happened back then, but a group of holy beasts disappeared. They probably went to an even higher realm. Then, wouldn't the super old fire beast and ice dragon be the ones? Long Shui said. The resources of the sacred beast's ancient realm have already been used up, so we are unable to produce any more powerful holy beasts. After running for more than 10 days by himself, Chen Xiang finally saw a bright light in front of him. He was finally about to leave the crevice, and this was only a small portion of the map's route. This route would allow him to safely enter the depths of the Night Devil Hell. Chen Xiang stood at the end of the crevice, and this was the crevice of a tall mountain. At this moment, he was halfway up the mountain, and when he looked outside, He could only see a sea of jade-green trees, and at the very beginning, a blurry green shadow of a tall mountain. Chen Xiang stood at the end of the crevice, and this was the crevice of a tall mountain. At this moment, he was halfway up the mountain, and when he looked outside, he could only see a sea of jade-green trees, and at the very beginning, a blurry green shadow of a tall mountain. A cool breeze blew, causing him to feel that he was not in the legendary terrifying night devil Hel, but instead in the beautiful mountain forest. He raised his head and looked up. There was no such thing as a thick fog. He could see the blue sky and white clouds and the birds flying. No matter how he looked at it, it did not seem like he was in a dangerous Hell. I wonder where the road they took will go. Chen Xiang had seen the map that the Phoenix Princess gave him. If this place is used as a location to hide treasures, then it would be very good indeed. However, it would also cause the death of many people. Su Meiyao said. Chen Xiang looked at the ancient forest below. The trees were all very tall and big, hence he quickly found a huge boulder inside the forest. The boulder was as big as a small mountain, and there was a small hole on the boulder that could only fit one person. He could see the boulder, but it would take him some time to get there, because the boulder was in front of him, and all he could see from there was a small dot. Little naughty dragon, can you see the danger in this forest? Chen Xiang used the spirit traveling technique and quickly took a stroll in the forest. Other than the fact that it was relatively cool, there was nothing else out of the ordinary. I didn't sense any danger, but it's hard to say. This is the deepest part of the night devil Hel, Long Shui said. Although the place looked peaceful, Chen Xiang would never believe that it was safe here. He turned into a bird and carefully flew above the forest. Just as he flew into the forest, his surroundings suddenly darkened, followed by an extremely evil aura. Looking down, he saw a dense CLU tur of little night devil. These little night devil were very small, only the size of a child. Their entire bodies emitted a faint greenish-black light. What's going on? Chen Xiang was overwhelmed with shock. Those little night devils below seemed to be inside a beehive. Each grid had a little night devil on their side. The lush and verdant forest from before had already disappeared. This endless night devil gave Chen Xiang goosebumps. MPS. This was actually the lair of a night devil, and it was extremely huge. What made him astonished was that these night devil grew very fast. He already knew that the blue sky and beautiful scenery he saw before was fake, but now, this place was completely dark and the lair of the young little night devil was everywhere. However, the gigantic boulder in front of him was real, which made Chen Xiang feel more at ease. He was only worried that there might be little night devil inside the cave. What a powerful magic array, even I was fooled by it. This kind of powerful magic array is not something that the night devil can set up. Someone must have done this on purpose, to protect the lair of the night devil. Who exactly is it and what is it for? Long Shui sank into deep thought. Chen Xiang also wanted to know the answer but no one told him. However, he knew that the devil-killing summit might know something about it. He continued to fly forward, and then he saw many little night devil holding onto an ellipsoid the size of a watermelon. These ellipsoid emitted a faint green light, and were placed into the hexagon by the little night devil. Night devil had the same wings as the bat, and their flying speed was extremely fast. At this moment they were like diligent bees, carrying a large amount of night devil eggs. Many young little night devils gradually grew up after absorbing the large amount of immortal qi here. Chen Xiang could see many young little night devil flying out, and their sizes were much smaller than those of the other little night devils. This was how late period of human immortals little night devil was born. Chen Xiang was curious how so many night devil eggs were born. He realized that he was at a place that was deep underground, and this place was like an ant's lair. Large numbers of little night devil were born every second. No wonder there were so many little night devils in the past. If you really thought this place was safe and flew in directly, you would definitely alert these Night Devil. They might even be hiding the Night Devil King, and then you would be in deep trouble. Long Shui could not help but feel Guseb. MPS all over his body. This was the lair of the Night Devil. The route on the map could actually bring people here. Maybe there's more than one lair in Night Devil. Su Meiyao said. Chen Xiang did not release any energy at all, and furthermore, he had hid it well, so when he found out that this was the Night Devil's lair, he immediately became smaller. While flying, he discovered there were a lot of holes on the surface, which probably led to the ground. Right now, he still had something important on him, so he did not investigate where these Night Devil eggs came from. After flying slowly for half a day, he finally arrived at the small mountain and entered the mountain cave. At this moment, he heaved a sigh of relief. Because Night Devil did not enter the cave, it seemed to be because there was something inside that Night Devil hated. He entered the cave. The cave led downwards, and it was pitch black inside. According to the map, this was the entrance to the second section of the safe route, and this section of the road was not as long as the first section. However, in this underground passage, he felt uncomfortable. It seems that when I was drawing this map, there was already a Night Devil present, so these safe routes could ingeniously avoid those Night Devil. Although this is their home, as long as you are careful, you won't encounter any powerful Night Devil. Even if you were discovered on top of it, you can quickly enter this passage. Long Shui said. Could it be that these Night Devil already appeared when they were still around? If these Night Devil had existed for so long with their amount, they could definitely evolve into a very strong Night Devil. They might even be existences that Serpa said the Night Devil King. At this moment, Chen Xiang had a deeper understanding of the Night Devil Originally, it was true that this was the sacred beast's ancient realm, but now that the sacred beast's ancient realm was no longer here, it was a completely different world altogether. What caused him to feel fear in his heart was that these Night Devils were born for what reason. This was because the Night Devil lair was protected by an extremely powerful illusion formation that even Long Shui could not see through. It only took him 5 days to fly out of the tunnel. This passage led upwards, so after he flew out, he confirmed that the world he saw was real. It was definitely not the realistic illusion he saw before. The thick fog is gone, but it is still shrouded by a layer of death aura. Chen Xiang turned into a bird and flew at a low altitude. At this time, he suddenly saw a gigantic silver-white mountain in the distance. There were a lot of green mountains beside the gigantic mountain, which could be considered to be extremely huge. That's the devil-killing summit. Bai Yuyu and Su Meiyao shouted in shock at the same time. It's a silver-white mountain. Bai Yuyu muttered to himself. Young Master has told us this before. He said that if you see this mountain in the Night Devil HELL, you better not think that you can enter the devil-killing summit just because you saw it. If you do that, you won't be far from death. It's a silver-white mountain. Bai Yuyu muttered to himself. Young Master has told us this before. He said that if you see this mountain in the Night Devil HELL, you better not think that you can enter the devil-killing summit just because you saw it. If you do that, you won't be far from death. Chen Xiang looked carefully at the gigantic mountain. Even though it was very far from him, it still gave off a holy and solemn feeling, and the silver multicolored light that it emitted made people feel fear and reverence towards it. It was the mysterious devil-killing summit, and the people that came out were all people that could cause chaos and slaughter throughout the 9 heavens. However, there had not been a single devil-killing summit ranker in a long time. I really want to go over and take a look, Chen Xiang said. Don't go. Going now is equivalent to seeking death, Su Meiyao said in a serious tone. Follow the route on the map and do not deviate from the path you took. The reason you were able to come here safely and even see the devil-killing summit was because of the map. Bai Yuyu's voice was very cold. Chen Xiang immediately dispelled that thought. Right now, he really could not take any risks, but what made him curious was that the devil-killing summit in the distance had always been maintaining a distance from him. Even though he had flown a distance, he still felt that there was no change in the distance between him and the devil-killing summit. Right now, he was flying above a lifeless forest. Although the trees in the forest had lush branches and leaves, they were lifeless, and looked gray and filled with death qi. Chen Xiang suspected that it was caused by the night devil lair deep underground. Chen Xiang had followed the route on the map, and right now, he was going to the entrance of the third section, so he had to be careful. However, after Chen Xiang had flown for half an hour, the sky suddenly darkened and the land became shrouded in darkness. However, the devil-killing summit in the distance was still emitting a silvery white light, which made him look even more holy and solemn. What's going on? Chen Xiang felt that something was amiss. He said that it would be dark once it got dark, and it was not covered by the dark clouds, but rather it made people feel like the sun had suddenly set. Time, what power is controlling time, causing this place to suddenly speed up and enter a very wonderful state? Long Shui said in shock. The sky had darkened, and what had annoyed Chen Xiang had happened. It was the night devil's howl, and he had no choice but to seal his own ears, or else he would have gone crazy. Something's coming. Hearing Long Shui's reminder, Chen Xiang saw a green light shooting towards him. In front of him, a night devil suddenly appeared and shot out a long tongue. Chen Xiang immediately dodged, then increased his speed and flew forward, wanting to get rid of Night Devil. It's the Night Devil King. He has his eyes on you. The Night Devil King originally thought that he could easily eat the bird that appeared in the darkness, but who knew that the bird would suddenly dodge and even accelerate its escape? Night Devil King immediately chased after it. He would never let go of the prey that was about to come out of his mouth, even though eating this bird was not beneficial to him at all. Didn't they say that all of the Night Devil Kings have intelligence? Then this guy is just like a stupid pig chasing after this Ned bird. No matter how I look at it, he doesn't seem to be an intelligent guy. He did not want to create unnecessary trouble. This was the territory of the Night Devil, so if he were to create any disturbance, there would be thousands of Night Devil that would appear and become a sea of the Night Devil. After chasing for half an hour, Night Devil King was also furious. It was just a broken little bird, but he had not eaten it even after chasing for so long. The Night Devil King stuck out his long tongue from behind, wanting to entangle Chen Xiang with his tongue, and then suck him into his mouth. Who knew that Chen Xiang would always be able to dodge it? And this Night Devil, I can't take it anymore. Chen Xiang's body suddenly flashed with a golden light, revealing his true form. When he had changed into his original form, he released a very strong demon suppression holy light, plus ning down onto Night Devil King's body in pain, his eyes becoming even more piercing. After Chen Xiang changed into his original form, he immediately took out his devil-suppressing mirror and imbued it with a very strong devil-suppressing holy power, taking fierce pictures of the Night Devil King. This kind of Night Devil's body contained an extremely evil power, and the devil-suppressing holy power was extremely destructive towards them. Chen Xiang used the light emitted by the devil-suppressing mirror and pierced a few large holes on the Night Devil King's wings, and the skin on his body was burnt so much that black smoke rose out of it. If the devil-suppressing holy power were to land on the bodies of these evil beings, it would be able to purify and melt them. Therefore, all the great powers had to look at the devil-suppressing divine palace before they came here. Night Devil King never would have thought that the bird he was chasing would suddenly turn into a human, and even released that kind of light that he hated the most, catching him by surprise. At least this Night Devil King had the strength of an immortal monarch, but just as he was about to counterattack, he suddenly saw a large golden seal pressing down on him, striking his body in the blink of an eye. Chen Xiang released the holy devil-suppressing seal. He wanted to quickly finish off this Night Devil King, and the word suppress from the holy devil-suppressing seal ruthlessly hit the Night Devil King's body, making it feel as if the Night Devil King was pressed down by a burning red mountain. If you're not courting death, you won't die. Chen Xiang suddenly retracted his holy devil-suppressing seal, took out his green dragon demon-slaying broadsword and injected it into the devil-suppressing holy power. From the beginning, the Night Devil King did not even have time to react. Just as he wanted to resist, he was attacked by the demon-suppressing sacred artifact, which destroyed the condensed power in his body. Then, he was struck by the sharp green dragon demon-slaying broadsword again. Chen Xiang's move was already at the peak of perfection. To be able to catch him off guard and to be quick and accurate, even the Night Devil King that was much stronger than him would die. After getting rid of the Night Devil King, Chen Xiang immediately turned into a bird and quickly flew away. At the same time, a few Night Devil Kings rushed over as well, and there was a large group of them. After he flew away for a while, he sensed a very terrifying evil aura. He guessed that it was the appearance of the Night Devil King, and that aura made him feel that the Night Devil King was much stronger than those immortal kings. This place is dangerous indeed. A Night Devil King appeared so quickly, I wonder how many of these things are inside. Chen Xiang exclaimed. He did not want to meet those Night Devil Kings. 2 hours later, he arrived at the third safe route. This was a small river, and this river was very deep. The river water was very cold, and he dove into the river. The river was very clean, but it was less lively. Chen Xiang suddenly felt that the Night Devil might be afraid of the water, if not the river would not be safe. The river was very clean, but it was less lively. Chen Xiang suddenly felt that the Night Devil might be afraid of the water, if not the river would not be safe. At night, even if Chen Xiang was at the bottom of the river, he would still be able to hear the cries of the Night Devils. This river is very narrow, but it's very deep. It doesn't seem like a normal river. Could it be that someone dug it out on purpose? This kind of river can't grow large beasts, so you don't need to worry about the giant beast. Long Shui said. Someone who could create such a safe route would definitely understand the sacred beast's ancient realm very well, and his own strength was also very strong. The map had the symbol of the Dan Emperor, and the Dan Emperor was a legendary figure, so his strength was much stronger than the Ice Emperor. Chen Xiang followed the flow of the water, feeling that the speed of the water flow was too slow. He swam forward even faster, because he was anxious to unravel the mystery of the map. And the map that Imperial Dragon Clan, Fire Divine Palace and the others had pieced together, what kind of place would it lead to in the end, and what was inside? This road was very long, and according to the map, it was longer than the crevice in the mountain. This meant that Chen Xiang would have to spend a lot of time here. I can still see the devil-killing summit. Chen Xiang swam for a few days at the bottom of the river and peeked his head out. When he peeked his head out, the silver-white mountain had always been in that direction, as if it was following him around. I don't know what's going on, but it's only been 4 hours in the day and 20 hours in the night. Long Shui said. If it wasn't for the fact that there's a strong power controlling the time, then it's just that there's a powerful formation going against Yin and Yang, all for the sake of allowing the Night Devil more time to come out and take action. Is this all Night Devil? There's no other beast type here. This was the sacred beast's ancient realm, so even if he wasn't the sacred beast's ancient realm from back then, there should have been some beast. When he had entered the crevice earlier, he had encountered an extremely terrifying beast tide, and even now, he still couldn't understand why that beast tide would appear. Chen Xiang suspected that there might be someone controlling a large group of gigantic beasts to prevent others from entering the depths of sacred beasts' ancient realm. Out of the several 100,000 people that the big powers brought, who knew how many were left? In short, there would definitely be some that would die miserably. After all, there were so many of them, and they weren't that strong either. No, even if there were, it would be difficult to discover that the beasts here are most likely facing the threat of the night devil, so they rarely come by, and if there are, they should be of the Beast King category, and even if they are, it would be hard to survive if they were to face a few night devil kings. Previously, in the 10,000 Beast Palace, there were a few old beast kings who said that they had escaped from this place, and that they did not want to return. It seemed that they had endured many cruel tortures in the night devil hell. In the blink of an eye, Chun Xiang had already been continuously advancing forward this long river for more than 10 days. What made him curious was that this small river had always had water, and it wasn't stopped at all, and was maintained in a perfect condition for tens of thousands of years, as if someone was specially protecting this river. Along the way, the 3 sections of safe routes were all unobstructed. Thinking back to it now, Chun Xiang felt that it was a little strange. Forget it. Forget it, Chun Xiang thought. Ever since Chun Xiang had been entangled by the meddling Night Devil King, he would try his best to avoid the Night Deviless. Although he was at the bottom of the river, both he and Long Shui could use the spirit traveling technique to observe the situation around them on the surface of the river. Although they had not seen the Night Devil King before, they could always feel the aura of the Night Devil King nearby, so Chun Xiang rarely exposed himself at night. Chun Xiang advanced under the river for 15 days. Based on his observations of his surroundings, he should be able to quickly enter the 4th safe route. There were a total of 6 sections to the safe route, and he was still half the way to the end of the map. For example, last time, he almost disturbed that Night Devil lair, and there was even a conflict between him and that Night Devil King. But this time, he didn't know what he would encounter, so he had to make preparations to face danger at any time. Soon, he saw a stone at the bottom of the river. This stone had a circular mark on it, indicating that he had to leave this river. The 3rd section of the safe route was over, and he had to turn from here to the 4th section. Chun Xiang would only go out during the day, and that way he would not meet the Night Devil. He had already determined that even the very powerful Night Devil King would not dare to appear during the day. Although there were no Night Deviless in the day, this place wasn't absolutely safe. In order to avoid becoming's target, he became a small flying insect and flew towards the entrance of the 4th safe route. In Chun Xiang's opinion, the 4th section of the safe route was not very safe, because it was neither a crack nor a water route. Instead, it was a muddy road in a forest. To reach the forest, he would have to cross a large river and 2 tall mountains. Normally, this would not mean much to him, but here it was extremely difficult. Let's hurry up. Although I don't know if the forest is safe or not, it should be a safe route. There shouldn't be any problems. Long Shui urged. She wanted Chun Xiang to return to his human form, since that would be faster. In here, he only had 4 hours in the day, so Chun Xiang had to hurry back and step onto the safe route, otherwise if he were to meet those Night Deviless, it would be a headache for him. He turned back into his human form and stepped onto the shrinking step on the ground. With extreme speed, he traveled through the forest and quickly saw the large river in front of him. The surface of the river was extremely calm as the river slowly flowed. On the surface, it seemed as if there was no danger, but the clear water of the river was abnormally quiet. Very quickly, he arrived in the middle of the river. Lowering his head to take a look, he immediately sucked in a breath of cold air, because he saw that there were 2 gigantic underwater shadows on the surface of the river. From the size of the shadows, it seemed like they were water beasts. Not only are they large in size, they are also very powerful. I wonder how many years they have lived here. Let's quickly distance themselves from this river. Long Shui said. Chun Xiang swallowed his saliva, increased his speed and flew in the air, trying his best to avoid too much noise. He was afraid that he would alarm the gigantic beast hiding in the river. However, in the water, they can avoid being attacked by Night Devil. Those night devil are afraid of the water and the fire. The next time we go against them, we can use water to test how powerful they are. Chen Xiang was still in the air above the big river, but he could no longer see the two gigantic water phantoms. Just as he heaved a sigh of relief, the surface of the river suddenly fluctuated. Have they been discovered? Chen Xiang was terrified. He immediately turned into a small bird and quickly flew towards the sh.o.r.e. Have they been discovered? Chen Xiang was terrified. He immediately turned into a small bird and quickly flew towards the sh.o.r.e. The surface of the river was rough, and huge wolves were rolling in the waves. Crash! He only saw a huge black shadow coming out from the river, and jumped into the air in a moment, because this thing was too huge, like a huge towering mountain floating in the sky, and Chen Xiang was right below it, unable to see what it was. He could only see a black object with scales on it. What is this thing? Why is it so big? Chen Xiang asked Long Shui in shock. It seems to be Xian Wu beast. Long Shui was also shocked. It was her first time seeing such a huge thing with her own eyes. This enormous creature in the air was like a heavenly part of the universe. Chen Xiang had seen the white tiger before. It was normal for the black tortoise to appear in front of him. It was just that he did not expect to meet them here in the night devil H.E.L.L., and there were even two of them. Before Chen Xiang could even clearly see Black Turtle's appearance, he was blown to the S.H.O.R.E. by a strong gust of wind. When he turned his head to look at the sky above the river, Black Turtle's gigantic body had already disappeared. He didn't find you. He found another guy. Long Shui immediately said, Look over there, the Xuanwu beast has turned into its benevolent form and is fighting with that guy. Is this black tortoise a saint beast? What is it? Chen Xiang's pupils contracted as he looked at the distant bursts of intense light flash. Hi+ing in the sky. I don't know. In short, that guy has a strong evil force on him. He might be a very powerful night devil, one that can appear during the day. This was only Long Shui's guess, but after Chen Xiang felt the qi that was transmitted here, he had the same thought. That kind of evil qi was indeed very similar to the night devil. Night devil could only appear at night, and those who appeared during the day were definitely very strong. Those who were not afraid of sunlight were existences that Serpa said the night devil king. Chen Xiang did not dare stay here for long. There were still black tortoises in the night devil H.E.L.L. and one that Serpa said the strength of the immortal king. He only wanted to hurry to the location marked on the map, and take everything he could take, then quickly leave this place. It seems like the daytime is also very dangerous. If that black tortoise had come to deal with him, his fate would have been very worrisome. Why are those fellows from Dragon Emperor still so arrogant? If they were to come here, it would be difficult for them to deal with those two Xuanwu beasts. Furthermore, that night devil is also very strong. I wonder how many of those things are here. Seeing the black tortoise beast and the powerful night devil, she had a deeper understanding of this night devil H.E.L. When Su Meiyao and Bai Yuyu were very young, they had heard many things about this night devil H.E.L. They had always believed that this night devil H.E.L. was powerful, but they no longer doubted that it was so terrifying. Night devil, black tortoise, devil-killing summit. How many other powerful existences are there that we do not know about? It seems like there are powers fighting amongst them. Long Shui sighed. It's better to leave this place as soon as possible. Maybe after we go out, Dragon Emperor and the others will all be gone. Taking those three strong guys that Chen Xiang just met, even if Dragon Emperor and the rest came, they would probably only be able to escape. If we were to fight with the 9 emperors and 5 venerables, would we have any hope of defeating that black tortoise? Chen Xiang asked. I do not know the specific strength of the 9 emperors and 5 venerables, but if one of their Dan Emperor S can enter here, and even make a path for us, he should be very strong, and should be able to fight those strong fellows from before to a draw. Long Shui thought about it and replied. Chen Xiang quickly went over 2 mountains. In front of him was the forest, which was filled with ancient trees. The lush branches and leaves were green and full of vitality. It was unlike the forests that were filled with death energy, and this made him feel that he was in a more normal place. When he was about to step into the forest, a white silhouette suddenly flashed past his eyes. In the broad daylight, when he saw this, he couldn't help but HI+ver because the white figure's speed was extremely fast. Furthermore, neither he nor Long Shui noticed it. Lo. Chen Xiang, who was in a daze, was suddenly patted on the shoulder, and even heard someone greeting him, made his entire body tremble violently, and suddenly break out in a cold sweat. In this sort of place, the things he was most afraid of were people who were neither human nor ghost. Furthermore, they were extremely strong and could even speak. Chen Xiang planned to charge forward into the forest without looking back. That was a safe route. Just as he took 2 steps forward, he felt a strong hand grab his wrist. He turned around and saw a 10-foot-tall STURDY middle-aged man standing behind him. This middle-aged man was dressed in white, with a head of long and messy white hair, along with some dried-up leaves. From the looks of him, it seemed as if he had just rolled on the ground. What are you running for? Do I look that scary? Besides, why are you running before you even see me? As the middle-aged man spoke, he used his hand to tidy up his messy white hair. He was scary not because he was ugly, but because his face looked fierce, as if he wanted to chop someone into pieces, the kind that killed pigs without even blinking an eye. Are you human or a ghost? Chen Xiang took a deep breath and calmed himself down a little. He did not feel any life force from this person, let alone any energy aura. Of course I'm human. Do you want to enter this forest? The big, white-haired man suddenly became serious. He looked at the huge forest, and a trace of fear and sadness suddenly appeared in his eyes. He let go of Chen Xiang, but Chen Xiang did not run. He knew that it would be hard for him to run. The middle-aged man was definitely strong. When he grabbed him, Chen Xiang had already noticed it. Yes, is there a problem? Chen Xiang replied vigilantly. The white-haired man frowned as he spoke in an extremely serious tone. Don't go. As long as you step into this forest, it will be very hard for you to get out. Why? Chen Xiang found it hard to understand, because it was a safe route indicated on the map. He believed that there was no mistake, because when he came here previously, he took the 3 sections of safe route which allowed him to be very safe. The white-haired middle-aged man seemed to know a lot of things. He immediately took out a map and spread it on the ground. Your map should be the same as this one, the 4th section is ahead. When Chen Xiang saw it, his heart jumped. The map was exactly the same as his. Could the 4th section be unsafe? Chen Xiang looked at the map, then looked at the ancient forest. It's not safe. No one who goes in will be able to come out. My wife was too anxious and did not come back after going in. I was lucky and found something wrong when I went in, so I could leave immediately. The white-haired middle-aged man said dejectedly. Didn't you go in with her? You didn't stop her. Chen Xiang did not believe what the middle-aged man said. We're a group of people. We'll split into groups, and I'll be in the group behind her. There's a total of 15 of us, and in the end, only I am still here. 300,000 years have said, and they still haven't come out. The white-haired middle-aged man sighed. 300,000 years. The corner of Chen Xiang's eyes twitched. For someone to be able to live for such a long time, he must be very strong. Senior, then do you know about the matter of the devil-killing summit? That silver-white mountain. And what exactly are those night devils here for? Seeing that the white-haired middle-aged man was easy to talk to, Chen Xiang immediately spoke out the question that had been in his mind for a long time. This is very complicated and cannot be explained with a few words. In short, if you still want to live, don't enter that forest. Since ancient times, many experts have entered and never came out. The white-haired middle-aged man warned Chen Xiang. However, the reason why I'm here is precisely for that place. This is the goal that I've worked towards for many years. I cannot give up halfway. Chen Xiang said. The reason he came here was to go to the point indicated on the map. Take out your map. I want to see who drew it. Even though it's about the same, we can still tell who drew it. The white-haired middle-aged man stretched out his hand and said. Chen Xiang took out a copy of the paper map. Because the original map was marked with the Dan Emperor, he wanted to test this middle-aged man. Senior, you were very famous back then, right? I wonder what your name is? Chen Xiang asked softly. Maybe Su Meiyao and Bai Yuyu had heard of it before. The white-haired middle-aged man frowned as he looked at the map and said, My name is Bai Shan Yui. Have you heard of it? Chen Xiang asked Bai Yuyu and Su Meiyao. Of course I've heard, it should be him. His character is very good, and he's fought against my master several times. He's a righteous person, but he disappeared many years ago. I didn't expect him to come here. Bai Yuyu said in shock. Chen Xiang told himself at this time that he had to hide his strength as much as possible. If this Bai Shan Yui found out that he understood devil arts, she would definitely exterminate him. Bai Yuyu's master was an old devil, so it was normal for him to be chased down by this Bai Shan Yui. A person on par with the heartless old devil must be very strong. Moreover, so many years have passed said. No wonder he was able to live in this place for so long. He must be very strong. It was painted by the Dan Emperor, haha. I didn't expect him to leave behind a map. He went to that D.A.M. Ned place himself and hasn't been seen since. The Bai Shan Yui laughed. Chen Xiang was secretly shocked. The Bai Shan Yui was truly amazing. Just by looking at the overturned map, he could already tell who drew the map. Senior Yu, the destination the map pointed to. What exactly is hidden there? Why are there so many experts desperately searching for it? Chen Xiang asked. His other purpose for coming here was to find the beast-slain method. To search for the beast-slain method. This was the sacred beast's ancient realm back then, and the reason why a large number of holy beasts were born was because the God-slain method was carved on a gigantic cliff. The Taiji dragon suppressed Kung Fu, the four-phase magic Kung Fu, the Taiji magic Kung Fu. Wait, most of these were written according to the beast-slain method. So many people do not care about their lives as they ran over. The Bai Shan Yui said. When Chen Xiang heard it, his heart instantly felt a chill, because he knew that it would be extremely difficult to obtain the beast-slain method. Right now, Chen Xiang was facing a difficult decision, whether to walk into the forest or turn around and leave. Right now, Chen Xiang was facing a difficult decision, whether to walk into the forest or turn around and leave. Entering the forest, he might not be able to get out, because Bai Shan Yui, this antique had a few strong teammates who had gone in and did not come out. Furthermore, he had waited here for hundreds of thousands of years. Even an expert like Bai Shan Yui was unable to deal with the danger inside, let alone him. However, if he did not enter, he would not be able to obtain the beast-slain method, and this trip would be a waste. Moreover, he felt that there might be a divine cauldron's lid that was not only contained within. Even the Dan Emperor did not come out, and this Bai Shan Yui is so much weaker than him. What kind of danger is hidden inside? Chen Xiang frowned as he thought. Perhaps you can come out. Although you are weaker than those guys, you are different from them. Moreover, you already have some heaven-earth killing method, so perhaps the things you have on you can allow you to go to that place unhindered. Long Shui said. She was also not willing to have Chen Xiang give up here, and come here just because she couldn't wait. She didn't want to come here again after coming to this kind of place once. Young man, you need to go in. Seeing Chen Xiang considering, the Bai Shan Yue did not think that Chen Xiang would still have the intention to enter. Of course, I came here for this, although I only found out now that there is a beast-slaying method inside. Chen Xiang said as he held the map. Chen Xiang had already made his decision. If he wanted to go in, he would need to take on a certain amount of risk in order to reap any reward. A violent wave of air suddenly attacked from afar. Bai Shan Yue lightly waved his hand and opened it up. This was the battle between the Black Tortoise and a powerful Night Devil. Chen Xiang had seen the Black Tortoise before. Chen Xiang realized that the violent shock wave did not cause any damage to the ancient forest in front of him. It could be seen that the ancient forest was protected by a mysterious power. If you want to go in, I won't stop you. I hope you can come out. Take care. The Bai Shan Yue seemed to be accustomed to this kind of situation, which made Chen Xiang unable to help but think that the Bai Shan Yue had been here for many years, preventing people from entering the forest. However, many people did not listen to him. Yes, I will do my best to find the people inside who are still alive. Chen Xiang cupped his fist at the Bai Shan Yue, then turned and ran into the ancient forest. Just as Chen Xiang entered the ancient forest, the sky suddenly darkened, and Night Devil flew everywhere. However, they did not dare approach the ancient forest, nor did they dare approach Bai Shan Yue. Not long after Chen Xiang entered the ancient forest, he heard the Night Devils shout from outside. He had already gotten used to it after so many days, and he predicted that it would be dark soon after he entered. Not long after he heard the cries of the Night Devil, something surprising happened. The Night Devil's voice suddenly became softer and softer, and as he continued to speak, the Night Devil's voice gradually disappeared, making him wonder if he had heard wrongly. What's going on? Chen Xiang immediately used spirit traveling technique. He wanted to see if there were any Night Devil flying in the sky, but who knew that his divine soul was unable to fly out. This ancient forest is truly strange. My divine strength is unable to fly out of this forest, and I can feel that this forest seems to be rotating. Long Shui said. Chen Xiang immediately turned around, wanting to leave the ancient forest. But no matter how he turned around, he didn't change his direction. In order to identify if he had gone in the wrong direction, he had even placed a spiritual crystal on the ground, and then turned around. But no matter how he turned, that spiritual crystal was still in front of him, on the ground. What was even stranger was that when he was walking backwards, he was actually moving forward. It made people feel like the entire ground was rolling. Now, he had no way out and could only move forward. Am I inside a formation? If it's a formation, then I can break it open. Chen Xiang was very calm at the moment. He continued to walk forward, but he was extremely vigilant, because what the Bai Shan Yue said was true, and the safe route was not safe here. Now, he began to admire the Bai Shan Yue, and if the Bai Shan Yue still managed to escape under such circumstances, it would be impossible for him to do it now. Originally, the forest was pitch black, but after he couldn't hear the Night Devil's cries, light gradually shine in this place. He felt that the days and nights in this forest had already returned to normal. Am I in an illusion? These things are all very real. Chen Xiang said by a tree and touched it with his hand. He pinched his fingernails, causing some sap to come out from the tree trunk. Everything in this forest is real. Long Shui said with certainty, because Chen Xiang had broken off a few tree branches and placed them into the ring. If it was an illusion, those tree branches and ring would not exist, and would disappear the moment they entered the ring. However, Long Shui and the other two girls in the ring were able to touch very real leaves. Su Meiyao had also liced the age of the big tree and found out that it had actually existed for 1,000,000 years, because the life force contained in the sap had been in it for a long time. There shouldn't be any danger in here, otherwise these trees wouldn't have existed for such a long time. Su Meiyao said. If a battle had broken out, then this entire forest would have been destroyed long ago. But now, this place had survived for 1,000,000 years or even longer. From then on, it could be seen that there were very few battles occurring within the forest. However, Chen Xiang still had to be vigilant, because if he encountered anything, he could only move forward. He walked very slowly. After about 2 hours, he suddenly saw a pile of white bones under a tree that was even larger than the surrounding area. Even during the daytime, the snow-white bones still emitted a faint white glow. When one walked in, they would feel as if this bone was naturally formed from white jade. This guy's body must be very strong. I didn't expect him to die here. Long Shui said, the bones that have turned into white jade are evolving into the shape of a jade dragon. Oh, is my bones the same now? Although Chen Xiang could see his own body from the inside, he couldn't see the specific appearance of his own bones. It's far away. Your current bones are at most stronger, but if you encounter a divine weapon, you can still break it. However, this jade bone in front of you is very difficult to break. Try it if you don't believe me. Long Shui said. The person who died here was very strong, and might even be Bai Shan Yui's friend. However, Chen Xiang was sure that this was a man, because his bones were thicker, he could tell at a glance. Although it was disrespectful towards the dead, Chen Xiang only wanted to try his fingers. He took out the green dragon demon-slain broadsword and its bones and placed them on top of the hammer, then used the green dragon demon-slain broadsword to cut down on it. He felt that even if it was a material for refining holy level, it would still break after being chopped like that. After a series of tremors rang out, Chen Xiang was shocked in his heart, because that tiny finger bone was not cut at all. As long as the soul was still there was still a chance for him to be revived. But right now, in the situation that Chen Xiang was in, his bones could actually not be destroyed, but he did not know how he managed to cultivate it. As long as the soul was still there was still a chance for him to be revived. But right now, in the situation that Chen Xiang was in, his bones could actually not be destroyed, but he did not know how he managed to cultivate it. This is the strongest human skeleton I've ever seen. Maybe even those 9 emperors and 5 venerables back then weren't as strong as this guy's bones. I never thought that he would actually die here. Long Shui exclaimed. I'm already a body of heavenly sage, is this still not strong enough? Chen Xiang felt that his body could already be considered a very strong existence among humans, but there was still someone who was thousands of times stronger than him. The body of heavenly sage is very strong. What do you think about comparing it with this jade bone? Long Shui asked. Comparing my I can't even break a divine weapon, this guy can't even be considered a human. Only now did Chen Xiang feel that this sacred beast's ancient realm was so terrifying. If even a person with such a strong body would die here, what about him? The owner of this skeleton could very well be the Dan Emperor. Bai Yu suddenly said. In the 9 emperors and 5 venerables, the Dan Emperor alone occupied 2 spots. The Pill Elder and Dan Yenjing were him, and many people did not know about them at the time. This showed just how terrifying his strength was. Is there any evidence? Chen Xiang asked. You should be very clear that you used flames to temper your own body. In the past, you often used them to temper your own body, and during that era, only a few people had such a strong flame. Fire Emperor, Dan Emperor, and Divine Craftsman were one of them, and Bai Shan Yui said that the Dan Emperor came here and never went out. Although Bai Shan Yui and his group are very strong, they are nothing in front of Dan Emperor. Dan Emperor is an existence close to God, and only his fleshly body is close to the divine body realm. Right now, he is only at the holy bone stage. Bai Yu explained. He died without any power, but even the divine weapons were unable to cut through his bones. When he was still alive, he was indeed very powerful. Chen Xiang had the vermilion bird's skeleton, but the bones of a holy beast like the vermilion bird weren't that strong. But Dan Emperor is so powerful, how could he possibly die? Chen Xiang was in disbelief. Even Fire Yanjing was still alive, and if the Ice Emperor wasn't killed by him, he would still be half dead. However, this Dan Emperor only had one set of bones. He didn't die, he just gave up his physical body, and his divine soul left his physical body. He used other methods to leave this place. Su Meiyao said, "It should be like this, he is a Dan Emperor and it is impossible for him to die of old age. Furthermore, he has such a powerful physique, there is nothing that can harm him." There was no wound on the white bone at all. Chen Xiang dug a hole in the ground, buried the white bone well, and then continued on his way. Even if he turned his head back now, he would not be able to see the road he had taken just now. He felt that the space he was in was the same as time, he couldn't retreat. Better than time, he could walk left and right, but to do that with Crab, he had to run faster or stay where he was. If that's really the Dan Emperor, I wonder what he got from this place. After he left this place, where did he go? Chen Xiang said. I don't know, maybe he went to a higher realm, or continued to muddle through the 9 heavens. If he could cultivate out a stronger physical body, he would be able to rule over the heaven realm, which is just like a small fry in front of him. He is a true great emperor of his generation. Long Shui said. Chen Xiang took out the map and looked at it carefully. This forest was very big, and it was also surrounded by a large mountain. Walking out of the forest, one would be able to arrive at a desert. And above the desert there was a very large river. There was also a sageway at the bottom of the river, and that was the 5th section of the safe route. Chen Xiang didn't know whether he could leave this forest or not, because the Baishan Huayue had said before that none of the people that entered were able to leave. Baishan Huayue had only discovered the danger and immediately escaped as fast as he could. At least for now I'm safe. According to the clues I've obtained, my greatest danger is being trapped here. Chen Xiang kept the map and rushed forward without a worry. If that white bone is really the Dan Emperor, then that guy is too strong. He should have already reached the final destination. According to the special space in this place, it's very hard for him to walk any further, but he's still there, and I don't know how he did it. If he continues to work hard, he might even be able to walk out. The place where the bones were found was very close to the outside. It's hard to say. Perhaps every step he takes will take him a year or 10 years, and the strength he needs may be very strong as well. He may not be able to last any longer, and sometimes he just has to endure for a moment. Chen Xiang felt that in the future, when he met Dan Emperor, he would definitely ask him how he felt at that time. 2 days had passed, and Chen Xiang was still in the forest. He had not encountered any danger along the way, but just when he was starting to relax, he suddenly felt that something was wrong. The trees he passed by earlier were all full of life, but the large area in front of him had all lost its leaves. The trees were all bald and withered, and the hot sunlight was not blocked by the dense foliage. Instead, it was Ning directly on the ground. Weird, almost all the trees in front died, and this happened only recently. Long Shui said. If this had happened a long time ago, these ancient trees would have already rotted in the endless water moon. As soon as Chen Xiang stepped into the withering woods, his face immediately changed. What's wrong? Long Shui asked anxiously. Hurry up and give me a longevity fruit. It will lose your life force here. Chen Xiang said. Fortunately, Chen Xiang had prepared a few longevity fruit in the serene jade ring. Furthermore, with his current cultivation, these longevity fruit could help him extend his life for a very long time. After he ate the longevity fruit, his expression became much warmer. Staying here for 1 day would take at least 1 year of lifespan. If there were no longevity fruit, and I was trapped here for a long time. I would die of old age before long. Is it because of the Pa's Sage of Time? Or is it because of some other reason? Long Shui asked. There is a force that is devouring my life force, not the Pa's Sage of Time. In short, I cannot stay here for too long. I wonder if the road ahead will continue like this forever. Chen Xiang's face became gloomy, because the safe route was no longer safe. Although there was no way back before, at least it was safe, and no life-threatening events occurred, but now something strange happened. Seems like the person who created this safe route has powerful strength. It might even be the 10 Heavens' Supreme Lord. Long Shui said, the beast-slain method is extremely important for the entire beastman race. Back then, it was precisely because of the beast-slain method that the beastmen had so many holy beasts. But why does the 10 Heavens' Supreme Lord have to protect the beast-slain method like this? Can't they just destroy the cliff directly? Long Shui was extremely confused. We'll have to wait for Old Man Duan to find more information before we can find out. Something must have happened that year, so this sacred beast's ancient realm became a night devil Ell. Chen Xiang sighed. This was something he had always wanted to know. Chen Xiang rushed there overnight, and after a total of 20 days, he finally left the forest and stepped into the desert on the map. He prepared to take the 5th safe route, but he was still unable to go any further when he arrived at the desert. The 5th safe route was under the bottom of a large river. He followed the map and found the large river in the desert, but it was already dried up. Before, there was a large river outside the forest. That river was much smaller than this one, but it did not dry up. Furthermore, there were 2 huge Xuanwu beasts. This made Chen Xiang unable to understand. This desert was extremely hot, without any immortal qi. He felt that something was devouring the energy in this area. Although it has dried up, we still have to follow that safe route to avoid any accidents. When Chen Xiang arrived at the bottom of the river, if he were to look down at the river from a high vantage point, this large river would definitely seem like a huge crevice in the ground. At the bottom of the dried-up river, a ditch could clearly be seen. This ditch was the safe way. It was as deep as 3 people, and now that Chen Xiang was running inside, if there was water, this ditch would probably be safer, just like the river before. This was the 5th section of the safe route. After passing through this desert, they would reach a mountain. At the bottom of the mountain, there was a very long tunnel that led to a huge valley. Ever since he entered the area with no way of turning back, he had never seen those little night devils, not even his voice could be heard. However, he still felt irritated because this place was like a land of death, and there was no way of turning back yet. There's nothing here. This river should be the biggest one here, right? Some of the skeletons of aquatic beasts are fine as well. Chen Xiang was running frantically under that ditch. This dried-up river was empty. He did not find any water beasts that were as big as the black tortoise. Do you think all the beasts have jade bones? Corpses and corpses have all been destroyed after tens of thousands of years. Long Shui said. Chen Xiang sighed in his heart. Right now, the only hope he had of getting out was to go to the end point and find the beast-slain method. I wonder if my friends from Baishan Huiyui and his wife will still be alive. Maybe I'll be able to meet them. Chen Xiang said. It's hard to say. Even if they're alive, they're probably at the very back of the group. If you don't go back, it would be very hard for you to meet them here. Long Shui asked. In this desert, is your lifespan still being devoured? Bai Yu asked. I can probably devour you even more in one day, but fortunately, I have longevity fruit. Chen Xiang said. At night, Chen Xiang madly ran in the ravine as he raised his head to look at the stars in the night sky. There were normal sun, moon and stars here, but the SBAC was so strange. At night, Chen Xiang madly ran in the ravine as he raised his head to look at the stars in the night sky. There were normal sun, moon and stars here, but the SPAC AC was so strange. Could it be that night devil has never been here before? Those night devil are all full of pig brains, this place should be filled with night devil. Chen Xiang suddenly became suspicious. He did not see night devil's corpse at all along the way. It's indeed strange, those night devils should have hidden in here. Could it be because Bai Shan Huiyui has been guarding that place for so many years? Su Meiyao also felt that it was strange. It was night now, and also when the night devil appeared. This place could be considered as inside the night devil H.E.L. and it was rather close to the center, but the noisy night devil noises could not reach here. However, the silence here made people feel some fear. In this silent and lifeless place, they always felt that they were in a place filled with lost souls. Is there something I can't see here? When Chen Xiang thought of this, he immediately felt Goseb. MPS. Impossible, my divine soul is so strong, even with something that I can't see around me, I can still sense it. Although Long Shui said this, Chen Xiang still opened the eye of primal chaos above his forehead. The moment he opened the eye of primal chaos, he inhaled a deep breath of cold air, which greatly surprised Long Shui, and anxiously asked, "What do you see? Are there really many things that you can't see?" "Some. I don't know how to describe it, but there are a few blurry people floating around with blood all over their bodies. All of the immortal qi in this piece of land was absorbed by this thing, so I don't know what they are." Chen Xiang said. "How many?" Bai Yuyu asked in a low voice. She seemed to know something. "There are a lot of them. They are all so dense that they can easily penetrate my body. I think my life force should have been absorbed by these people who are neither human nor ghost." Chen Xiang withdrew the eye of primal chaos, because those things were truly too frightening. It should be the vengeful spirit. Most of these fellows that you saw had ferocious looks on their faces. They looked like they were at the last moment before their death. Bai Yuyu said, They are indeed very much like those who are about to die, but they don't have any grievances on them, and Shui can't feel them either." Chen Xiang was very suspicious of this matter. He could even sense the remaining remnant souls after death. If he did not use the Chaos Divine Eye, he would not be able to see those things. This type of soul resentment is different. The soul power of these vengeful souls has been extracted, leaving behind only an empty shell. Some extremely weak resentments formed an image that only those with special abilities would be able to see. I don't know why there is such a strange phenomenon. In short, this is probably the case as well. The power here will be crazily devoured, and it is also the result of these vengeful spirits, because there are too many vengeful spirits here. Sister Yu, what is the use of these vengeful spirits? I feel like a large number of them are sealed here. Chen Xiang asked. Maybe it was brought in when the 10 Heavens Supreme Lord was killed that year. I heard that many people died at that time. I'm not sure what use it has, but someone did indeed intentionally seal a large number of vengeful spirits here. Otherwise, it wouldn't have been so dense. Bai Yuyu said. Now Chen Xiang finally understood why his lifespan was being devoured. It was because he had too many of these invisible vengeful spirits by his side. Could it be related to those night devils, and maybe these things are used to create those night devils? If you want to create a life form, you must first have a large number of souls. All kinds of medicinal herbs have spirits, but they are very weak. If the spirits of the flowers, plants and trees are strong, they can also turn into benevolence and benevolence. Long Shui said. It's very possible that someone extracted the spirit and left these useless and uncontrollable vengeful spirits here. Right now, those night devils are still appearing non-stop. Where did they get such a large amount of souls? Could it be that there's a very powerful formation here, and how to gather those floating souls? Bai Yuyu frowned. She also felt that this must be related to the night devils. Chen Xiang also didn't want to open his chaotic eyes again. Looking at that kind of thing would only make him even more unhappy. It was daybreak. Under Long Shui's urging, Chen Xiang opened his eyes once again, but this time, he did not see any of the tormented souls. He's gone. Chen Xiang said in shock. Indeed, vengeful spirits only have malicious intents. They fear the scorching sun. Although those vengeful souls do not have their own consciousness, they can instinctively avoid the scorching sun. Bai Yu said. Doesn't that mean he's the same as the night devil? A thought flashed in Chen Xiang's mind. Those night devils that howl at night might have actually vented the anger in their hearts, as well as the unwillingness to die. Bai Yu said in a serious tone. Clearly someone intentionally created a large number of night devils. I don't know how he did it, but in short, this is not a good thing. The guy who created a large number of night devils also had ill intentions, because over the years in this large group of night devils, he has already evolved and produced a very powerful night devil. Only knew about the existence of this thing, but had never seen it before. He felt that there must definitely be more than one night devil that did not fear the sunlight. Looks like this batch of night devil are also very powerful existences in this heaven realm. If they were to be controlled one day, then wouldn't it mean that the heavens would change? Chen Xiang could not help but think that when night fell, thousands and thousands of night devils would suddenly cover the sky, and like a sudden rain, they would swoop down and attack the life forms above the 9 heavens. Chen Xiang also floated in the air at this time, arriving on the ground. This was still a desert, but he could see that in the direction of the sun, there was a large stone mountain. As long as they said through that stone mountain, they would be able to reach their destination. As long as we this mountain, we'll be almost there. Chen Xiang ran towards the stone mountain. What he was more worried about right now was how to leave this place, because he had no way of retreating right now, and could not turn back. The moment he stepped into the group of mountains, he felt the ground shake violently, as if something had been disturbed by him the moment he entered this place. Did you find anything? Chen Xiang stood in place without moving because he felt that wave of trembling was due to his appearance. It was right for Chen Xiang to stand there without moving, because he suddenly sensed that a barrier had appeared in front of him. It was difficult for him to see it with his naked eyes, but he could sense it, and he did not know what the consequences would be if he stepped into the barrier. It was right for Chen Xiang to stand there without moving, because he suddenly sensed that a barrier had appeared in front of him. It was difficult for him to see it with his naked eyes, but he could sense it, and he did not know what the consequences would be if he stepped into the barrier. What he could do now was to bypass this barrier and continue towards his destination. Although he couldn't walk forward, he could move left and right to avoid the barrier. However, just as he took a few steps forward, the ground suddenly shook again. Soon after, he saw a figure flying over from the distance and stopped on top of a small stone mountain. There was actually someone inside, which surprised Chen Xiang quite a bit. If that person was a bit stronger, he wouldn't be so surprised, because it was very likely that he was a friend of the Bai Shan Yue, and the person currently standing on top of the small mountain was a handsome young man in white with a delicate face. His strength was about the same as the late period of human immortal, so he didn't know how to restrain himself at all. After entering that spirit formation, we can retreat. Chen Xiang thought, because the man was able to fly towards him, it was obvious that he was not affected by the strange spatial laws. The young man just stood on top of the small mountain and looked at Chen Xiang with wide eyes, not saying a word. However, just as he was about to enter the barrier, the white-clothed youth who was standing on top of the small mountain suddenly shouted out and waved his hand to release a ray of light. Upon closer inspection, it was a good-quality immortal sword, probably because the middle-grade immortal sword had been injected with a strong force that carried a sharp killing intent, flying straight towards Chen Xiang in anger, because he did not do anything at all, and under the pain of the person, he shouted loudly, and did not dodge at all as he grabbed the tip of the sword, causing the sword to stop. Chen Xiang shouted angrily. The killing intent from the white tiger gloves on his hands immediately surged out, filling his arms with power, adding the anger in his heart. He used a huge amount of power to forcefully break the middle-grade immortal sword. The white tiger gloves could be considered a delay weapon. In his hands, the middle-grade immortal sword was no different from an ordinary weapon. With just a few movements it was easily crushed. The white-robed young man was equally infuriated when he saw his beloved immortal sword destroyed. He didn't expect this person to be so powerful. This is a holy land, and we've been here for many years to protect this place from outsiders. Anyone who dares to step foot into this place will die. The white-clothed youth knew that he was not Chen Xiang's match and did not dare to walk forward, because Chen Xiang had also not entered the barrier. Chen Xiang asked. If this was really someone else's territory, he really couldn't go in. No, we are human. This used to be the sacred land of the beast race, but now that they have left, it belongs to us. Outsiders are not allowed to enter. Although he had a calm expression, Chen Xiang could already see a hint of fear in his eyes. The white-clothed youth had clearly been frightened by the move he had revealed just now. Chen Xiang glanced at the white-clothed youth, then walked around the barrier. As long as he did not step inside, there would be no conflicts of interest. Right now, that sacred ground had already been taken by someone, and after many years, the people inside should all be very strong. Chen Xiang used the Heaven Tour, wanting to enter the barrier to check out the strength of the group inside. However, he was stopped by the barrier. He knew that if he stepped inside, he would not be able to come out, because there was no way out from the barrier. Han Chen, what happened? As soon as they heard the delicate shout from afar, a woman dressed in a simple blue dress floated over. She had a gentle smile on her face as she gracefully landed behind the young man, bewitching him with her movements. When Han Chen saw the lady, his originally stern face immediately revealed a smile, but his voice was still serious. Qianxiang, there is a foreign person there. He destroyed my immortal sword just now. He is very powerful. Go back and report it to the clan elders. Get them to send the immortal monarch over. Mu Qianxiang looked at Chen Xiang, and Chen Xiang also looked at her, with a slight smile on his face. Right now, Chen Xiang was using his own appearance. Although he was not a very handsome man, at least if a woman saw him, she would not hate him so much. Although the two were separated by a long distance, they could still clearly see each other. Mu Qianxiang could already tell that Chen Xiang was only at the middle stage of the worldly immortal stage, but when she saw Chen Xiang's eyes that were as deep as the sea, she almost lost her mind. Mu Qianxiang immediately frowned and closed her eyes. This woman actually knows some kind of mind-reading sacred art. She wanted to see through your thoughts, but I didn't expect you to backfire on her. Long Shui laughed. You almost made her lose her mind. If it got serious, she would become a fool. Fortunately, I've trained in the soul-absorbing devil spell. Using such a move against this woman is simply courting death. Chen Xiang laughed. This person shouldn't have any malicious intentions. Can't we just let him in? At night, it will be very dangerous outside. I wonder how he got here. Mu Qianxiang said in a low voice, and then glanced at Chen Xiang. Right now, she didn't dare to look at him too much. We can't let him in, this is a rule. Han Chen's face was stern. He said angrily. I actually hope that guy comes in so that I can kill him and actually destroy my immortal sword. After Chen Xiang, who was moving around the barrier, heard this, he shouted. You used the immortal sword to attack me first. At that time, I also hoped that you would come over. Who asked you to step into the spirit formation? Han Chen roared. Can't you give me a warning from the distance that you have to use such a barbaric method? I haven't entered the barrier yet, so with my strength, once I enter, I can immediately slaughter both of you. However, I'm not as unreasonable as you. Chen Xiang replied indifferently. In Chen Xiang's eyes, Han Chen was just a wet behind the ears brat. Furthermore, he would get angry easily. Chen Xiang secretly praised him for having such good self-control. Compared to him, Han Chen was indeed much worse. Do you want to walk around the spirit formation? It's impossible for you to pass through it. The area that the spirit formation covers is very big and it spans almost the entire region. Mu Qianxiang shouted. Qianxiang, go and call the elders over. This person destroyed my immortal sword, we cannot let him go like this. Han Chen was a little angry, and spoke in a much louder voice to Mu Qianxiang. What's the use of an elder coming? Who dares to walk out of the spirit formation? It's not like he's going to come in. If you want to deal with him, at least let him in. Mu Qianxiang snorted as he was filled with discontent. Chen Xiang did not walk forward but chose to sit down instead. He smiled and said, It seems like even if you all let me in, I won't enter anymore in case I get killed. I'll instead wait here for your elders to come and see how they deal with me. Chen Xiang felt that the two young men and women in front of him must have grown up in this sacred ground. Furthermore, their knowledge of the outside world must be different from those in the heaven realm. Right now, her eyes were flickering, and they were filled with endless desire to learn. They could tell that she really desired the outside world, and that was why she was able to use the mind reading, or even the ability to search for the memories of other people to deal with Chen Xiang. It was only that her desire was broken. Hurry up and go. Han Chen shouted. I can't leave this place in case he sneaks in. Chen Xiang did indeed have such plans. He planned to wait until night before sneaking in. Why don't you go? I'll just watch over him from here. I'm stronger than you, and my celestial sword wasn't destroyed. Mu Qianxiang said somewhat angrily. Her beautiful face no longer had the gentle smile from before. Qianxiang, you're not young anymore. Furthermore, we will be holding a marriage ceremony soon. At that time, you will be marrying and having children. Why are you still quarreling all day? An elder walked through the air and quickly arrived behind Mu Qianxiang. Don't marry him, he's always the one who ses me off first, and he doesn't respect me at all. Mu Qianxiang snorted lightly. Humph, there are many women who want to marry me. It's better if you don't marry them so that you don't have to spend all your time arguing with my other women. As a woman, you only know how to cultivate all day. You don't have to worry about this kind of thing. What you have to do is take care of your children at home, serve your husband, and take care of the chore. Yes. Han Chen sneered. When Chen Xiang saw the old man, he immediately stood up. Your old man gave him a lot of pressure. This old man looked very spirited. He had a head full of white hair, but he did not look old at all. His skin was as tender as Mu Qianxiang's. Han Chen, you already have more than 10 women, but even if they combine their powers, they still wouldn't be able to beat me. What's the use? Mu Qianxiang was enraged by Han Chen's words. He did not look like a virtuous lady anymore and had a face full of killing intent. Shut up! The old man let out a light shout, but it was as if a thunderclap had exploded in his ears, and both Han Chen and Mu Qianxiang didn't dare to speak anymore. When the old man came here, he stared at Chen Xiang. He knew that those who were able to come here were all extraordinary characters, but the man in front of him was emitting such a weak innate chi aura, although he looked very shrewd, with a face full of wind and frost, looking mature and steady. What are you doing here? The old man asked. Although he had already guessed the answer, he still had to confirm it. I came here on the basis of a map. I have no way out now, you should know that. Chen Xiang sighed. Chen Xiang suspected that the people who were occupying this place must be the descendants left behind by those who entered this place many years ago, such as the people from the Baishan Yue. Chen Xiang suspected that the people who were occupying this place must be the descendants left behind by those who entered this place many years ago, such as the people from the Baishan Yue. If that was the case, then this place did not belong to them. Therefore, Chen Xiang could also go and take a look at the cliff where the beast slain method was recorded. Elder, He destroyed my mid-quality celestial sword. Han Chen wanted to continue, but the old man looked at him, making him not dare to speak. If they had been able to reach this place according to the map, then it would not be impossible for them to be a bit weaker. Over the years they had encountered many of these people. We have been stationed here since the ancient times, so we do not allow outsiders to enter and destroy the Holy Land. Now that you, Ali, have come here, there is no way out. The old man said. Elder, if you want him to leave Samsara Valley, isn't that just courting death? Mu Qianxiang's face changed as he asked anxiously. In Chen Xiang's mind, the map immediately appeared. There was indeed a valley, and this valley would go past the place he wanted to go, which was the cliff where the beast-slain method was hidden. The reincarnation gorge will pass south by the place he wants to go. According to the map, he came here to go to that valley. In his eyes, those who went to the valley would all be courting death. That place was extremely dangerous, and Chen Xiang could tell from the words of the old man and Mu Qianxiang that many people had died there over the years. These people have lived here for so long, they must know the Samsara Valley very well. That Samsara Valley is the only way to leave this place. Of course, over the years, many people have not been able to do so. The clan elder saw Chen Xiang meditating and said, Then I can only go that way now. Chen Xiang said softly, Since there was still a way out, then what about the jade bones in the forest outside? That person was so powerful, yet he did not choose to walk the Samsara Valley. Elder, can't we keep him here? It's not like we've never experienced something like this before. Mu Qianxiang said softly, looking at Chen Xiang with extreme sympathy. We can't, our family's resources are limited, we can't accept outsiders anymore, if not what happens to our children and grandchildren in the future? Han Chen immediately shouted. Chen Xiang's eyes lit up. It was normal for these people to have problems with resources since they had been trapped here for so long, and he definitely could not go to the Reincarnation Valley to die for now. Even Dan Yanjing did not dare take that route. Chen Xiang stood up, looked at the old man and smiled. Resources are. If you let me stay in your clan for a period of time, I can provide you with some resources. What resources do you need? Chen Xiang's words made the old man's heart move. Although the old man had been trapped here the entire time, he still had his schemes, and if the person in front of him had a large amount of resources, then there would be room for negotiation. Rather than bringing those resources to die, it would be better to just hand them over. One day, 10,000 spiritual crystal. We will arrange food and lodging for you. If you want to know more about the Rebirth Valley, we can also provide you with more details. This will require a few spiritual crystals as well. The old man said. Chen Xiang smiled and nodded. Problems that the spiritual crystal could solve were not problems at all. Fortunately, he had gotten the 10 million spiritual crystal jade plates from Long Huishan earlier and exchanged them all. Seeing that Chen Xiang agreed so readily, the old man regretted not offering a higher price. This is 10 days' rent. Chen Xiang tossed a storage bag to the old man. There were 100,000 spiritual crystal inside. If they were inside those immortal palaces, then 10,000 spiritual crystal would be able to stay in those luxurious hotels every day. All right, you can come in now. The old man nodded, causing Han Chen, who was at the side, to grit his teeth in anger. He hated Chen Xiang very much, because Chen Xiang had destroyed his immortal sword, and Mu Qianxiang was very concerned about Chen Xiang too, which made him very unhappy. Although Han Chen already had quite a few women, Mu Qianxiang was different from the other girls. Mu Qianxiang was extremely talented, so his strength was strong and he had a body of terrifying power that was not married yet, which was even stronger than his. Furthermore, he had a surname, which was unlike any other woman's power. Chen Xiang laughed as he walked into the barrier. I wonder what senior's name is? I will be living here for a period of time, and I won't consume any of your resources. The reason I'm staying here is mainly to investigate that Samsara Valley from time to time. I am Chu Jiang, an elder of the Chu family. This year, it is my turn to inspect the perimeter of the barrier, to prevent anyone from sneaking in. As long as someone comes near our barrier, it will cause a commotion, Chu Jiang said. Chen Xiang nodded. He had indeed felt a tremble earlier. Elder Chu, how many people do you have here in total? Chen Xiang asked curiously. There are over 30 million people in total, and they are controlled by 9 different families. My Chu, Han, and Mu clan are in charge of this area, and we will send some disciples to watch over it every day, Chu Jiang said. Originally, he thought that it would only be a few tens of thousands of people, but now, he understood why outsiders would not be allowed to enter. There were a lot of people, and it was normal for there to be a shortage of resources. However, Chen Xiang could bribe an elder with just 10,000 spiritual crystal. Elder, can you let him come to our Mu clan? I will be responsible for his arrangement. Mu Qianxiang looked at Chen Xiang, who had walked in, and smiled at him. Although Chen Xiang could stay here for the time being, it did not mean that he could wander around alone, so he had to send someone with strength to watch over him, making it safer for Elder CLA's people to watch over Chen Xiang, but the elders were all rather busy and did not have the time to do so, while the young, who were strong, would definitely clash with Chen Xiang, for example, Han Chen. Amongst the youths, Mu Qianxiang's strength could be considered relatively strong. And since she was a woman, she would definitely be able to get along well with Chen Xiang. Right now, Chu Jiang did not want Chen Xiang to leave so early, because he wanted more spiritual crystal. If he let Mu Qianxiang follow him, maybe he could stay for a longer time. Mu Qianxiang looked at Chu Jiang with her watery eyes. She really hoped that Chu Jiang would agree to her request, because with this, she would be able to interact with Chen Xiang, who came from the outside world every day. She knew a lot of things about the outside world. Alright, no problem. As for the spiritual crystal, I will give you 20%. Chu Jiang nodded. Alright, no problem. As for the spiritual crystal, I will give you 20%. Chu Jiang nodded. This year was Chu Jiang's turn to be in charge of this area's boundary. The benefits that he had obtained were naturally all his Chu family's, and for Mu Qianxiang to be able to obtain 20%, it could also be considered not bad. Chen Xiang laughed inwardly. He had already seen that the strong in this place were extremely lacking in spiritual crystal, so it wasn't hard to understand why. They could only stay in this area, it was much smaller than a continent. Chen Xiang felt that as long as his bid was high enough, maybe even Mu Qianxiang would be able to buy it. Thank you, Elder, I will definitely settle this matter well. Mu Qianxiang's face revealed a happy smile. Humph, Han Chen was furious and said coldly, You have destroyed my immortal sword, so you must compensate me. Of course, Chen Xiang could afford it. He had many middle-grade and high-grade immortal swords in his hands, and even some high-grade ones, of the best kind. Then, He Feng would have 2 top-grade immortal swords. But Chen Xiang would never give it to him, because Han Chen was the one who made the first move back then. Why should I compensate you? You were the one who tried to kill me first. At that time, I still hadn't stepped into the spirit formation. I was only defending myself. Chen Xiang said. Qianxiang, here are 20,000 spiritual crystal. Take it back to your patriarch and properly entertain them. Chu Jiang gave Mu Qianxiang 20,000 spiritual crystal. After Mu Qianxiang received it, he asked while grinning, What's your name? I'm Mu clan's Mu Qianxiang. Chen Xiang. In this kind of place, Chen Xiang was not afraid of exposing his name. He replied with a smile. Han Chen saw that Chen Xiang and Mu Qianxiang were looking at each other, and almost spat out fire. He snorted angrily and turned to fly away. Mu Qianxiang looked at Han Chen's back and snorted, Ignore him. If he wants to die and attacks you, I'll help you deal with him. That's not good. You may have to marry him in the future. Mu Qianxiang was very straightforward, there was no shyness that a woman should have. She grabbed Chen Xiang and said, I won't marry that guy, now you must follow me back to the Mu clan. The elder still has other things he needs to do. Miss Mu, how old are you this year? Why are you so powerful at such a young age? This doesn't make sense. Chen Xiang flung Mu Qianxiang's hand away. He was a man, yet he was being pulled by a woman. It looked very outrageous. Previously, Elder Chu Jiang had said that Mu Qianxiang would soon undergo her coming-of-age ceremony and that she would be getting married at that time. However, at her age, she had a very strong strength, even more powerful than that Han Chun. She was already a immortal monarch, and Chen Xiang believed that she must have had some sort of fortuitous encounter. I was born with it. How would I know? Mu Qianxiang turned his head and stuck out his tongue at Chen Xiang and laughed. In short, I am stronger than you, do not look down on me, although you are older than me. How old are your adult standards? Chen Xiang asked again. This Mu Qianxiang looked to be around 18 to 19 years old. 20, I am already 20 this year. But I will have to wait a while before the 9 families can jointly hold the coming-of-age ceremony. Mu Qianxiang said. In other words, you're still a little girl. Chen Xiang laughed. So what? Some old guys aren't even my match. Do you want to see how powerful I am? Mu Qianxiang rolled up his sleeves, exposing his jade-like arms. With a face full of smiles, he could tell that she was a very mischievous woman. Save it. If you injure a rich person like me, Elder Chu will certainly blame you. Chen Xiang immediately revealed a very scared look. Stop pretending. For you to be able to turn Han Chen's immortal sword into a waste, you must be very powerful. Mu Qianxiang pouted and said, originally, this place was a stone mountain, but after being remodeled, there were many trees planted here. Many stone mountains were leveled and constructed into cities and towns, and within this barrier, the immortal energy was very dense. Xiao Xiang, in all these years, has anyone entered that Samsara Valley before? Chen Xiang asked. You guys should know what is inside. Of course we know that there are divine arts left behind by the beast God. Humans can also learn them and understand them from them, so we can create a few more powerful divine art. However, that place is extremely dangerous, and many of our 9 clans' experts have died over the years. Mu Qianxiang immediately replied, how about I give you some spiritual crystals in private, and you answer some more questions for me, this way you can earn some money. Chen Xiang said, name your price. Mu Qianxiang snorted, I don't want that stuff, but I have a question to answer, and you have to answer mine. No problem. Immediately agreed. In this kind of place, it would be good to be able to save a few spiritual crystals, but Chu Jiang probably never would have thought that Mu Qianxiang, who looked up to the outside world, would actually not care about spiritual crystals at all. What she needed more were the novel stories outside. Now it's my turn to ask you. Mu Qianxiang said, do you have a wife? Oh, why do you ask? Chen Xiang was a little surprised. That's also a question. I'll answer it first, then you'll owe me an answer. Mu Qianxiang laughed mischievously. I am just curious, see if you can compare to that Han Chun in this area. So far, I have only one wife. Chen Xiang answered honestly. Only one. Mu Qianxiang revealed a ridiculing expression. Do I need a lot of them? Chen Xiang just said it out and immediately regretted it, because this was also considered a problem. You owe me another question. Mu Qianxiang giggled. You're really stupid. The more men there are, the more power he would have and his status would be even higher. For example, Han Chun, the young miss of a small family, would have to pour out some medicinal ingredients to join the Han family. Chen Xiang laughed. But if he can't marry you, so what? If he wants to marry some girls who don't have much power, I have as much as I want. Even if it's a pretty strong girl, it's not hard at all. Tisk, boasting. Although you look pretty good, your strength isn't that great. Mu Qianxiang said with a look of disdain. There definitely aren't many strong women, why would they all stay in your embrace? Then you're wrong. In the outside world, there are many strong women. Chen Xiang said. Now, it's your turn to answer my question. Tell me who is the most famous and powerful woman outside. Mu Qianxiang's eyes lit up as he asked anxiously. Chen Xiang was unable to answer that question immediately. He had interacted with quite a few female experts, such as Long Peirong, Bai Xia Dan Immortal, Long Huishan and Lu Menger's mother, Song Ying. And among the heaven realm, although the number of immortal kings was the fewest, it was still only calculated compared to all the living beings in the 9 heavens, and immortal kings were not the strongest existence in the heaven realm. And among the heaven realm, although the number of immortal kings was the fewest, it was still only calculated compared to all the living beings in the 9 heavens, and immortal kings were not the strongest existence in the heaven realm. At that time, there were people who said that she might become a flower emperor in the future. Amongst the women, she can be considered an existence at the top. Su Meiyao said. Hundreds of Flowers Immortal Country is probably the youngest, with only 5 very, very small immortal palaces. Furthermore, all of the palace masters are women, and all of the people who are in charge of the entire immortal country are also women. This immortal country is also considered the most peaceful one among all. Bai Yu replied, We went there to seek refuge all those years ago. Back then, he had thought about going there to hide for a while, but he was still worried that the devil-suppressing Divine Palace, Imperial Dragon Clan and the Fire Divine Palace were too strong, so even the hundreds of Flowers Immortal Country wouldn't be able to protect him. Chen Xiang answered Mu Qianxiang's questions according to what he and Bai Yu said. How old is the hundreds of Flowers Immortal Country then? She, a woman, is actually called the future Flower Emperor. She's really amazing. Mu Qianxiang yearned for more than anything. She also wanted to become a very strong woman. If I answer your question again, we will be even. Chen Xiang laughed. He could already tell that Mu Qianxiang yearned for the outside world. The hundreds of Flowers Immortal Country is made up of 5 immortal palaces, and the main palace is at least 300 million. Furthermore, each palace is governed by at least 1 immortal king and 10 immortal monarchs, and these immortal king, immortal monarchs all follow the orders of the future Flower Emperor. Of course, this is the minimum number. Chen Xiang said. What a formidable woman. I really want to go to the hundreds of Flowers Immortal Country to take a look. I wonder if she will accept me. Mu Qianxiang gazed into the distance, as if he was looking into the distance. With your innate talent, as long as you are willing to work hard, it might not be impossible for you to become a girl like the Flower Emperor in the future. Chen Xiang laughed. Go ask around at the Mu clan. We're going to enter the city soon. Mu Qianxiang said vigilantly. Obviously the thing she wanted to ask about needed to be kept a secret. Even though the buildings were simple, they were arranged in a very neat manner. The main street was covered with flat stone bricks, and on both sides of the street were trees. Moreover, there was a clear river in the city, and from time to time boats would pass by. Among them, ordinary people were the most common. Although this world was isolated from the outside world, it was still operating in a very orderly manner. For mortals, resources were not lacking, because they could support themselves by raising poultry. Although this was the heaven realm, this kind of ordinary scene was very common in those immortal palaces. There was a carriage outside the town, and Mu Qianxiang led Chen Xiang into the carriage. Then, the 2 spirit stallions dragged the carriage, and headed towards the inside of the town. Elder brother Shen, you should stay here for a while longer. Can you wait until I'm an adult before leaving? Mu Qianxiang sat opposite to Chen Xiang and looked at him with a pitiful expression. Previously, she had looked very strong, but now, she had turned into a spoiled little girl. I only need to stay for 1 day to earn 10,000 spiritual crystal. How long is it until the coming-of-age ceremony? Chen Xiang said. There are still 40 days. Mu Qianxiang lowered her head and sighed softly. This was 400,000 spiritual crystal. Although she did not care about the spiritual crystal, she knew that it was a huge amount, especially for the place that the spiritual crystal was lacking in. 400,000 spiritual crystal was nothing to Chen Xiang. He was just about to agree to it, but Mu Qianxiang suddenly raised his head and said in a low voice, "Elder brother Shin, I can give you some good things. You can give them to the elders and then you will definitely be able to stay here for the long term. You shouldn't be in a hurry to go to that Samsara Valley right now, right?" Chen Xiang's heart skipped a beat and he asked, "What is that thing?" Mu Qianxiang did not reply, but instead sent a sound transmission to Chen Xiang, one immortal fruit. Previously, Chen Xiang knew that this Mu Qianxiang definitely had some sort of fortuitous encounter, otherwise she wouldn't have been able to become an immortal monarch at such a young age. Don't tell anyone. In this place, there is no importance attached to women at all. We women have very little resources when we cultivate, so if it wasn't for me displaying my shocking talent, I would be like other girls and serve a hateful guy like Han Chun. Mu Qianxiang whispered to Chen Xiang. "Xiao Xiang, if I find a way out, are you willing to follow me out?" Chen Xiang asked. "Of course I'm willing. As long as you can bring me out of here, I can promise you anything." After Mu Qianxiang finished speaking, his face flushed red as he added, "That kind of thing is not going to work." "What's wrong?" Chen Xiang pretended not to know and joked. "Humph, stop pretending. You must know." Mu Qianxiang angrily stomped her feet, and her face turned even redder. Chen Xiang giggled, then asked her via sound transmission, "What is that immortal fruit? Can you tell me how it looks like?" "It's fiery red, and it looks like a little bird." Mu Qianxiang thought and replied. Chen Xiang immediately told Su Meiyao this. Su Meiyao said in shock, "That's a phoenix fruit, that isn't from the immortal grade, but the holy level, and is at the same level as the holy level's dragon medicine. Good God, that's worthy of being the sacred beast's ancient realm's sacred ground, otherwise there wouldn't be such a thing. Then there might even be other holy fruits, and they were not just these, because he discovered that there was no aura of fire on Mu Qianxiang's body. It seemed like she did not gain strength by eating the phoenix fruit, so she definitely had eaten some other things. I'll take you back first, and let my Mu clan's patriarch know about your temporary stay here. After that, I'll bring you to find that holy fruit, and when we get back to my place, you must behave a little better, and try your best to make those old fellows happy, so that you won't be troubled by some nice guys in my Mu clan." Mu Qianxiang transmitted. Chen Xiang nodded his head. In order to make those old fellows happy, he had to use some spiritual crystal and pills. This was indeed beneficial for his activities here. Right now, he had already planned to let Mu Qianxiang lead him to search for some sacred fruit and immortal fruits first before going to investigate the Samsara Valley. "Xiao Xiang, what kind of status do your parents have in the Mu clan?" Chen Xiang asked. "My father was the grandson of the family head, and my mother was my father's 17th woman. Because I accidentally offended some women who had a higher status than her, and because she was very beautiful and was envied by others, she was killed in the dark. But my father didn't care and didn't go investigate." Mu Qianxiang seemed to have already seen through it, but she was helpless. It could be seen that she had been through a lot since she was young. Mu Qianxiang was considered an anomaly here, because she was a woman. With such a rare resource, she was able to give him a strong power at a young age, so even if she was in Mu clan, she had a certain privilege. Mu Qianxiang was considered an anomaly here, because she was a woman. With such a rare resource, she was able to give him a strong power at a young age, so even if she was in Mu clan, she had a certain privilege. Seeing Mu Qianxiang's carriage drive over, the doors of Mu clan's mansion immediately opened. Mu Qianxiang could stop the carriage and directly enter her residence. "Lil Xiang, looks like you're doing quite well." Chen Xiang laughed. "Of course, if I want my family to value me, then I must become an irreplaceable person. Right now, I am the pillar of the young generation of Mu clan. I have fought quite a few times for those old fellows, and from the looks of it, there is no one in this Mu clan who can replace me. Mu Qianxiang said proudly. Even if you don't want to marry, the elders of your Mu clan will not say anything. Of course, and I can marry whoever I want. If I don't want to marry, then I won't marry. No one can interfere. Ever since Mu Qianxiang gained the power of the immortal monarch, she had not worried about this matter. Get off the car and come with me to meet those old guys. I've helped them get a rich man, they'll definitely be very happy. Mu Qianxiang pulled Chen Xiang and got off the carriage. She wanted to quickly settle this issue so that she could bring Chen Xiang to a rather secretive place. Then, she could continue to learn about the matters of the outside world from Chen Xiang. Followed Mu Qianxiang and walked quickly for a while before arriving in front of a small stone hut. Third elder, something good has come knocking. Hurry up and bring the other elders over. Mu Qianxiang shouted from outside. The wooden door of the stone house slowly opened, revealing a short old man. However, Chen Xiang did not dare underestimate him, because this short old man was the immortal king. Wild girl, you've finally become enlightened. Do you know that you're going to get married? The old man looked at Chen Xiang and laughed. This brat is called Han Chen, right? I remember that he doesn't look like that. After not seeing him for 2 years, he has changed so much. Chen Xiang was extremely speechless. Third elder, what's with your gaze? He isn't that annoying Han Chen. His name is Chen Xiang. He ran in from the outside. Mu Qianxiang said snappily. The short old man widened his half-opened eyes a little. Didn't you say that you can't come in from the outside? You wild girl, aren't you being too reckless? I remember that you were supposed to be in charge of that area with Chu Jiang, and you sneaked him in. You have to hide him well, and don't let Chu Jiang know about it. Mu Qianxiang sighed and looked at Chen Xiang helplessly. Using his eyes, he told Chen Xiang that this old man was just like that. Chu Jiang charged him a temporary fee of 10,000 spiritual crystal per day. After that, I told Chu Jiang to give this kid to me as my guard, and he gave us 2 levels of the Mu clan. Here are 20,000 spiritual crystal. Mu Qianxiang handed the storage bag over to the short old man. I will take care of his food and accommodation. I will take care of him, and he has to pay a temporary fee of 10 days. 20,000 spiritual crystal, I have not seen so many of them in a long time. Wild Lass, you sure have great abilities to be able to get a decent job from Chu Jiang. The short elder looked at the spiritual crystal and laughed. Alright, take him to play around. I'll talk to the other elders later. The short old man walked out of the stone room and transformed into a white figure that disappeared very quickly. Mu Qianxiang anxiously pulled Chen Xiang and ran back to his own house. Xiao Xiang, you actually call me brat. You are much younger than me, Chen Xiang said. Mu Qianxiang's house was located in a bamboo forest and was extremely quiet. There were 2 rooms and a small hall, and Mu Qianxiang was currently packing a room that no one had lived in for a long time. How about I sleep in the same room with you so you don't have to pack up? Chen Xiang sat at the side and laughed. No, I have to train tonight, you will disturb me. Mu Qianxiang originally wanted to refuse, but after she said this, she thought for a moment and then said, All right, I will sleep in the same room, but it is not the same bed. Originally, Chen Xiang was only joking around. She did not expect Mu Qianxiang to actually agree. She was not tidying up the room, and was instead bringing the empty bed to her room, then putting on a clean, soft and fragrant bedding. The 2 beds were snuggled together, making Chen Xiang feel that sleeping with her wasn't too different from before. In his eyes, Mu Qianxiang didn't seem to think of him as a woman, even though she had a lovely face. Wild girl, bring that guest to see the chief tomorrow morning. The chief will be back tonight. Chen Xiang and Mu Qianxiang heard the voice, but the voice came from afar. It was the short old man from just now. Mu Qianxiang sighed, looked at Chen Xiang who was sitting on the bedside. Are you hungry? Do you want to eat something? Chen Xiang shook his head. No need, I just want to take a bath now, then have a good sleep. The bathroom is over there. There's a well outside. Get some water and boil it yourself. There's a bath in there. Do you need me to teach you how to wash? Mu Qianxiang pointed to a corner in the large room, which was separated by a screen and a curtain. I gave you 10,000 spiritual crystal. If it was in the outside world, I could at least enjoy 2 maids helping me scrub my back. Now I even need to get some water to boil my own. Chen Xiang purposely revealed a disappointed expression. Just as he was about to walk out, she snorted and stepped in front of him. Not long after, Chen Xiang was bathing in the hot bath, but Mu Qianxiang did not come in to help him wash it, which made him feel a little regretful. After Chen Xiang finished was plussing up, he wore a simple set of pajamas and pounced toward the soft bed. He laid on top of it with his eyes closed, let out a long sigh, and had a face full of enjoyment. I'm sleeping, don't disturb me. After Chen Xiang said this, he closed his eyes. Chen Xiang was indeed sleeping, but he had slept for a short while before Long Shui woke him up. Little scoundrel, wake up quickly. That wild girl has already taken a bath, and didn't even use a bath, she was only plussing herself. Little pervert, did you peek at her while she was bathing? Chen Xiang woke up. Although his eyes were still closed, he could still hear Mu Qianxiang humming a little tune and the sound of water splosh. Plussing in the bathroom. The thing that moved Chen Xiang the most was that waves of intoxicating fragrance from the flower. The fragrance on Mu Qianxiang's body was also very special. It turned out that she would use some strange flowers to scrub them when she was bathing. The bathroom only had a screen, but Chen Xiang was a very obedient person, so he did not use the heaven tour to look at other people's baths like how Long Shui did. Chen Xiang cleared his mind and wanted to continue sleeping, but suddenly he heard Long Shui shout, "She's out, she's not wearing any clothes." After Chen Xiang heard this, he secretly cursed Long Shui in his heart. If she had not woken him up, he would have just woken up. After Chen Xiang heard this, he secretly cursed Long Shui in his heart. If she had not woken him up, he would have just woken up. She's just drying herself by the bed. Open your eyes and look. Don't waste it. Long Shui urged. Mu Qianxiang thought that Chen Xiang had gone to sleep, so she did not mind at all. Her figure isn't bad. If she's really the tallest, I can give her 9 points. Long Shui said. Chen Xiang had already sealed off his 5 senses, and did not continue to listen to Long Shui's words, and quickly fell asleep. What's wrong with this little scoundrel? He doesn't look like him. Su Meiyao laughed tenderly. He actually didn't peek. This wild girl is indeed not bad. I really feel pity for this little scoundrel and miss such a good opportunity. Mu Qianxiang had already put on his clothes and was wearing loose pajamas on the bed beside Chen Xiang. Elder brother Shen, wake up. Mu Qianxiang lied down on her side and shouted at Chen Xiang. Chen Xiang couldn't hear them. He had already sealed his sense of hearing. Mu Qianxiang called out a few times, but seeing that Chen Xiang did not make any movements, he climbed onto Chen Xiang's bed and pushed his way through Chen Xiang's body. Chen Xiang suddenly woke up from his stupor and looked at him with a big grin. Mu Qianxiang had a head of long hair that hung down to her chest. She wore clothes that were extremely broad at the chest, revealing her beautiful collarbone. This kind of spirit lying on his bed caused Chen Xiang's heart to thump. Didn't I say not to disturb my sleep? It was already dark outside and the sound of insects could be heard. Inside the house was also very cool, but Mu Qianxiang saw that Chen Xiang had been woken up by her, and did not feel any guilt at all. Instead, her face was full of happiness as she laid beside Chen Xiang. I can't sleep. I'm very excited right now, so I can't calm down and cultivate. After Mu Qianxiang laid down, He also pulled Chen Xiang, who was sitting up down, and placed him beside himself. Was somewhat unable to endure Mu Qianxiang's enthusiasm, especially when his arm was hugged and he touched Mu Qianxiang's soft and fragrant peaks through a thin layer of clothes. Lil Xiang, you're not young anymore. You should know that men and women shouldn't be intimate with each other. Aren't you afraid that I'll do something to you while you're in the same bed as me? Chen Xiang calmed the restlessness in his heart. No, because I'm stronger than you, it won't be that easy for you to harm me. With your current strength, you cannot bully me. I can only bully you. Mu Qianxiang chuckled. Mu Qianxiang held Chen Xiang's arm and said softly, "Can you tell me what the outside world is like? I asked the elders and the others, and that's all they have to say." "Alright, actually, I just ascended to Heaven Realm, so I don't know much about Heaven Realm." Chen Xiang then recounted some of the things he knew and told them in stories, causing Mu Qianxiang to be extremely interested in hearing them. He was mainly talking about some very mysterious things, such as the 10 Heavens Supreme Lord, and then talking about the stories of the great powers outside. Although she did not sleep that night, Chen Xiang was still very energetic. There was no need to mention Mu Qianxiang. After knowing how wonderful the outside world was, she became even more excited, and wished to immediately fly out. Go see my great-grandfather. He's the clan leader here, and he often goes out to hunt some powerful monsters for his clansmen to eat. Everyone uses this method to increase their strength. Mu Qianxiang entered the bathroom and changed into a purple Chong Sam behind the screen, giving her a dignified and blee temperament. On one hand, it was to welcome the return of the patriarch, and on the other hand, it was to look at the foreigner that Mu Qianxiang had brought over. Mu Qianxiang brought Chen Xiang and walked into the great hall that had a few hundred people standing around. It immediately made Chen Xiang feel a little pressured, because many people were looking at him. He saw that the people here were all in groups, and most of the women were in group. Mu Qianxiang had previously said that the men here could marry many women, and now that the patriarch had returned, they had to all come out. There were quite a few boys and girls as well, and compared to Mu Qianxiang, the strength of those youths at Mu Qianxiang's age was indeed very far apart. No wonder Mu Qianxiang had such huge privileges, and when she walked in, she did not even bother to look at the people on both sides of the hall. Her entire body was exuding an oppressing aura of arrogance as she walked into the hall and stood behind the few elders. After everyone had arrived, a robust middle-aged man with a mix of black and white hair suddenly appeared at the entrance of the hall. When Chen Xiang saw him, the middle-aged man disappeared, and then reappeared on the big chair at the head of the hall. Very strong. Chen Xiang was overwhelmed with shock. He never thought that the patriarch of the Mu clan would actually have the power to Serpa S, the immortal king. At this time, everyone in Mu clan bowed to greet the patriarch. Nothing big happened to our Mu clan, right? The patriarch swept his sharp eyes across the crowd, causing them all to feel a chill in their hearts. Chief, the little girl brought back an outsider. You should have heard about this, the short old man said. The patriarch of the Mu clan immediately looked at Mu Qianxiang. He nodded at him, and could tell that he valued Mu Qianxiang greatly, then feeded his gaze back to Chen Xiang. I heard that he is temporarily staying at our place, and after that, he will investigate the Samsara Valley. In the future, he will enter the Samsara Valley. The patriarch of the Mu clan said. They were actually going to the Samsara Valley, and when Mu Qianxiang brought Chen Xiang in, everyone felt that Chen Xiang's strength was not very high, like many of the other youths in the clan. He was only at the intermediate stage of the worldly immortal stage, and Mu Qianxiang was even stronger than him. However, everyone heard that he rubbed away Han Chen's middle-grade immortal sword like he was rubbing mud. Great-grandfather, you are the one who understands Samsara Valley the best out of the 9 clans. Elder brother Shen continues to know some things about the situation, and he even brought a great gift. Mu Qianxiang pushed Chen Xiang away and pushed him out of the room. She had greeted Chen Xiang earlier and told him to prepare some gifts for him. The patriarch of the Mu clan shook his head. I have been to the Samsara Valley twice, but have never found anything and almost died inside. I do not understand much about it, I only know of the dangers inside, and I can let him look through some of our ancient books they mentioned about it. Chen Xiang took out a jade box and said, Boy Chen Xiang, because you have obtained a map, you have to come here. I know that the Samsara Valley is very dangerous, so I plan to stay here for a long time. Chen Xiang gave the jade box to Mu Qianxiang, and had him bring it over to the patriarch of the Mu clan. You are too polite, you have already given the Chu family 10,000 spiritual crystal a day, and our Mu clan can also get 2 levels, so the faster people who come are the customers. If it were not for the rule that was made many years ago, you would not be stopped outside the barrier today. The patriarch of the Mu clan said while smiling. As he spoke, he opened the jade box and saw a fruit filled with immortal energy. He was stunned. Although he had grown up in this sealed-off place, he still recognized the fruit. The patriarch of the Mu clan took a deep breath and said, Longevity fruit. There were also immortal fruits like longevity fruit here, but that had already become history. Now, even the fruit trees no longer existed, and most of the people here had heard of them. There were also immortal fruits like longevity fruit here, but that had already become history. Now, even the fruit trees no longer existed, and most of the people here had heard of them. Even in the past when they had longevity fruit were still very precious, so Chen Xiang's courtesy was very precious to them. It could help those who were about to run out of oil to obtain new life, and if they could break through, it would also help their family gain another strong warrior. Originally, Chen Xiang had only planned to take out a few Hunyuan Dan, but seeing that this patriarch was so powerful and was so courteous, he immediately changed his mind and decided to take out the longevity fruit. This way, he would be absolutely safe in the future by staying here. Great-grandfather, just accept it, Mu Qianxiang said. The patriarch looked at Mu Qianxiang, his stern and dignified face revealing a smile. You wild girl, don't bully others. Take good care of this guest who came from afar. The patriarch of the Mu clan said meaningfully. Got it. Mu Qianxiang laughed as he walked to Chen Xiang's side. Wait a moment, bring him to the academy. Go there and flip through the ancient books. The patriarch of the Mu clan put away the longevity fruit, and then said to the people, This time when I went out, my harvest was considered bountiful, but if you want to get more beast meat, then you all must display your strength well. Let me see how much you have improved. Second elder, give the wild girl 10,000 caddies of beast meat and let her properly entertain the guests. 10,000 caddies of beast meat made many people in the audience extremely jealous. This was enough for a long time, and could increase a lot of power, especially the dozen or so women that were Mu Qianxiang's father, who looked at Mu Qianxiang with sinister eyes. They hated Mu Qianxiang to the bones because he was originally living in the same courtyard as them. Mu Qianxiang's mother was killed because of that group of women. Mu Qianxiang knew clearly in his heart that they had wanted to kill her initially, but they did not succeed. At this time, the women were worried that Mu Qianxiang would take revenge. Mu Qianxiang happily went to collect the 10,000 kilograms of beast meat, and then left the hall with Chen Xiang. As for the others, if they wanted to pick up the beast meat, they would have to display their strength in front of the patriarch. The clan head was very concerned about the progress of the disciples within the clan. Every time he came back from hunting, he would do the same thing. Moreover, he had a very good memory, so he could remember what level these people were at the last time. Mu Qianxiang was naturally the one who got the most beast meat every single time, and this time, he got even more because of Chen Xiang. Mu Qianxiang brought Chen Xiang back into the bamboo forest and sat next to a roasting furnace. They took out a large piece of beast meat and started cutting it into pieces. Hurry up and start a fire, I'll grill some meat for you to eat. Mu Qianxiang laughed and said, I only got 500 kilograms last time, I didn't expect I could get this much this time, I can eat enough at once. She seemed to have forgotten that this beast meat was used to entertain Chen Xiang. Chen Xiang realized that this Mu Qianxiang was also a big eater, just like Long Shui. If she was together with Long Shui, maybe every time she ate it would be an extremely intense eating and drinking compet. 1 Tian. How often does your great-grandfather go out to hunt? Chen Xiang asked, and also helped cut the beast meat. He realized that the quality of the beast meat was actually very good. He came back this time to rest for a few days and then went out again, probably 3 months later. There's no helping it, he lacks resources, so he can only go hunting for those giant beasts, but there are a lot of them. Great-grandfather said that it should be enough to kill for hundreds of thousands of years. Mu Qianxiang skillfully took the pieces of beast meat and placed it on the metal trident, but Chen Xiang had not lit a fire yet. Chen Xiang took out some charcoal made from high-grade wood and threw it into the furnace. Afterwards, he released the heaven flame from his palm and made the charcoal burn. You know how to set fire to people, that's great. Mu Qianxiang said excitedly. I don't know how to use fire. Chen Xiang looked at the meat carefully and asked, What kind of beast is this? The quality is very good. Not only is it not bad, this is much better than the meat of the small gold eagle, it contains a large amount of immortal elemental energy. Remember to roast my portion. Long Shui said. Xiao Xiang, can I go hunting with your great-grandfather? Chen Xiang asked. Are you sure you want to go? My great-grandfather told me to go last time, but I had other things to do, so I refused. If you want to go, I'll go with you. Mu Qianxiang laughed. My great-grandfather wishes for me to become the strongest huntress in the entire 9 nations in the future. Chen Xiang took out some seasonings and made it into a few small bowls. Then, she used a brush to brush them on top of the roast meat, making people drool while she roasted them. When Mu Qianxiang saw this, she also did the same thing. I'll bring you to the academy after you've eaten your fill. I didn't expect you to be such a treasure. You can make the roast meat taste so good. Mu Qianxiang laughed happily. Elder brother Shen, is your wife as beautiful as me? As Mu Qianxiang ate the roast meat, her jade face became oily. When she ate, she was as fast and crazy as Long Shui. She's much prettier than you. Chen Xiang slightly smiled. Maybe she's just as powerful as you right now. Furthermore, she knows how to refine formations. After Mu Qianxiang heard this, he was shocked because she did not know how to refine or set up an array. She's so amazing. You can't use fire, you can't learn it. Chen Xiang laughed. I won't do it now, but that doesn't mean I won't do it in the future. Mu Qianxiang was obviously very confident that he could use fire. If you really can go out, I wish you could go to Hundreds of Flowers' immortal country and stay there with him. Although it's not to learn refining formations, you can still learn her skills. I heard that up until now, she still hasn't found a good candidate to pass on her absolute arts. Chen Xiang said. This was what Su Meiyao had told him. We'll talk about it after we get out. Over the years, the experts from the 9 clans wanted to get out, but they were unable to do so. Furthermore, quite a few experts died. Mu Qianxiang sighed. Chen Xiang really wanted to bring this wild girl, who had a special talent, out. If nothing unexpected happened, she would definitely become a strong female in the future. Maybe it would make the heaven realm even more lively. Chen Xiang roasted a lot of meat, and the majority of it was for Long Shui to eat. He himself also ate a lot, and after eating it, he mulat a large amount of immortal qi in his body, and with a little refining, he could turn it into pure and rich innate qi. Both Long Shui and Mu Qianxiang had a huge appetite, and in an instant, they had eaten several hundred kilograms of beast meat. Fortunately, Chen Xiang had hidden it well, and he did not find out that he had secretly brought away some of the beast meat for Long Shui to eat. Both Long Shui and Mu Qianxiang had a huge appetite. 1. and in an instant they had eaten several hundred kilograms of beast meat. Fortunately, Chen Xiang had hidden it well, and he did not find out that he had secretly brought away some of the beast meat for Long Shui to eat. I've eaten my fill. I should go to the academy to take a look. There are many ancient books there, but there aren't many records about the Samsara Valley. I should be able to finish them soon. Mu Qianxiang licked his lips and took a sip of the sweet fruit wine. Chen Xiang was not in a hurry to go to the Samsara Valley. The Mu clan's academy was a small house with 6 to 7 large rooms and shelves filled with books. Once Mu Qianxiang arrived, he immediately asked an old man. The old man seemed to already know that there would be people reading the ancient books about the Samsara Valley. He immediately brought Chen Xiang into a study room and took out a book that was made from a thin layer of beast skin. Fortunately, Chen Xiang could understand these ancient characters. When he was in the 10 heavenly sacred mountain previously, after fusing with the stone tablets, he was able to learn these ancient characters. You can actually understand it? There are many ancient characters here that I don't recognize. The old man in charge of supervising the academy said. Yes. Chen Xiang nodded his head, and then quickly flipped through the pages of the ancient book, searching for something useful. This ancient book was not really thick, only dozens of pages. Chen Xiang finished flipping through it very quickly, and not many things were recorded in it. Most of them were recorded from many years ago, including who and where they went to the Samsara Valley, and in the end they did not return. However, those who could still live after entering the Samsara Valley did not even enter the depth. They did not even reach the valley where the beast-slain method was located. After a mysterious force stopped them at the entrance of the valley, they immediately retreated. However, just as they were about to leave the valley, they were pulled back by another wave of energy, and then they were met with all sorts of violent attacks. In an instant, their bodies were injured, and they had to use all of their strength to escape. Most of those who were unable to escape must have died inside. This was also the reason why they didn't return after entering. Anything else? Chen Xiang asked. Nope, it's just this book. The Samsara Valley has been here for many years, and all those who went in were recorded on it. Most of the people that did not come back are powerful warriors. The old man said. Chen Xiang was very disappointed and sighed helplessly. That is something that cannot be helped. To be honest, not to mention you, even if our chief goes to that place, he will be courting death. The old man shook his head. That's the only way out of here. Mu Qianxiang said in a low voice. How could she not know that it was impossible to safely enter the Samsara Valley and leave the place after? I also know that there is a valley in the middle of Samsara Valley. Once we enter that valley, we will be able to see the beast-slain method, but we cannot go there. The old man said, Young man, you will stay here for the rest of your life. There will definitely be a way. It's just that you guys are too stupid. You haven't thought that sometimes you won't be able to solve a problem just by relying on brute force. You need to rely on your brains instead. Seeing the disappointment on Chen Xiang's face, Mu Qianxiang immediately said to the old man, then pulled Chen Xiang out of the academy. Elder brother Shun, you have plenty of time. Mu Qianxiang comforted him. When your spiritual crystal is not enough, tell me, I will do my best to help you, so that you can stay here for a long time. While raising your strength, think of a way to leave this place. Chen Xiang revealed a smile. The more impossible things are for others to accomplish, the more I want to challenge them. This is a situation that I often encounter. Mu Qianxiang still did not know what kind of person Chen Xiang was now. If there was a day she could leave this place and go to Heaven Realm, she would understand what Chen Xiang was trying to say. Chen Xiang had done many things that others would think they would not be able to do. Seeing Chen Xiang's smile, Mu Qianxiang was also very happy. Let me bring you over to play, I'll familiarize myself with this place first. There was a beauty sleeping and eating with him. This made Chen Xiang feel comfortable, but he would not lose the strong desire to leave this place in the midst of enjoying it. On the contrary, he wanted to bring this wild girl who was dreaming about the wonderful world outside with him. Chun Xiang giving the patriarch a longevity fruit, this matter caused a huge stir in the 9 clans. Regretted it greatly now. He did not expect Chun Xiang to be a tyke. OON. Now everyone knew that Chun Xiang was in Mu clan, and he was even accompanied by that famous wild girl from Mu clan. However, people from other families all thought that Chun Xiang, that longevity fruit, was equivalent to a betrothal gift. Moreover, they never thought that women would be so valuable. Although Mu Qianxiang was a young immortal monarch, from their point of view, he still had a low status. From the looks of it, he was a young immortal monarch. Mu Qianxiang brought Chun Xiang out for a stroll for a long time, and after hearing some gossip, he could only smile indifferently. Was very generous, buying a huge pile of pills whenever he saw something he could eat. He let Chun Xiang eat a lot, of course. Most of the ingredients were for her and Long Shui. In the evening, Mu Qianxiang and Chun Xiang returned to the quiet bamboo forest and sat next to the barbecue outside their house, ready to eat a beast meat feast. I am only worth a longevity fruit. I had to put in a lot of effort to train myself. Mu Qianxiang mocked himself. If you don't want to marry, then even 1,000 longevity fruit can't do anything to you, you wild girl. Chun Xiang chuckled. If I were to marry you, the betrothal gift would definitely not only be that of a longevity fruit, it would really be too unfair for you. How many would that be? Mu Qianxiang asked with great interest. Chun Xiang rubbed his chin, frowned and thought for a while, then said seriously, At least I need 2 longevity fruit. He deserves a beating. Mu Qianxiang was originally full of antic. 1. P. Asian for a good answer, but didn't expect Chun Xiang to actually be joking. Chun Xiang caught hold of her jade fists that were SMAs. Plussing towards him and said with a laugh, If I wanted to marry you, I would not give you a single longevity fruit, because at that time, I would already have gotten you out of here. Even if you take me out, I won't marry you. Mu Qianxiang scoffed. A multicolored ray of light suddenly flashed across the dusky sky, and a gigantic multicolored ball of light streaked across the skies above the Mu clan's mansion, giving off a scorching aura. At this moment, everyone on the ground felt a wave of heat attack them. What's this? Chun Xiang raised his head and looked at the 7-colored ball of light that was slowly moving across the sky. Does this often appear in your place? When Mu Qianxiang saw the 7-colored ball of light, his expression became extremely serious. This thing is big trouble. That beautiful 7-colored ball of light, no matter how you looked at it, didn't seem like it could bring about misfortune to anyone. However, in Mu Qianxiang's mouth, it was a calamity. That beautiful 7-colored ball of light, no matter how you looked at it, didn't seem like it could bring about misfortune to anyone. However, in Mu Qianxiang's mouth, it was a calamity. Do they appear often? Chun Xiang asked. Of course not. If we were to appear often, we wouldn't be able to survive. Mu Qianxiang quickly finished the barbecue. Suddenly, an urgent bell chime sounded. Mu Qianxiang stood up and said, This is the bell chime for the entire clan to assemble. What kind of disaster will the bane bring to us? Chun Xiang asked curiously. This thing will appear once every few thousand or even 10,000 years, and will sometimes be safe, but sometimes it will bring about all kinds of disasters. This thing will appear once every few thousand or even 10,000 years and sometimes be safe, but sometimes it will bring about all kinds of disasters, and once it will fall into the ground, it will explode and release all kinds of terrifying powers. Mu Qianxiang walked quickly with Chun Xiang following behind her. He asked, This can't be a coincidence. After all these years, there must have been someone deliberately bringing them in. I don't know. No one knows where this thing came from. Since Mu Qianxiang was young, she had heard a lot about this colorful jinx, so her expression was currently very solemn. This means that every time they appear, many people will die. Chen Xiang felt that this matter must have some sort of secret behind it. He suspected that someone was actually trying to destroy the 9 clan that was guarding this place. If it really was made by man, then this person must be very powerful. Otherwise, it would be impossible for him to condense such a thing and send it here from a faraway place. Whether it is the 9 clans or the other commoners, all of them will be affected by the calamity. That kind of power is extremely terrifying, and right now, Colorful Jinx has only just appeared. Legend has it that after it appears, a natural disaster will occur within the next 7 days and 7 nights. Chen Xiang followed Mu Qianxiang to a large plaza of the Mu clan's courtyard. Everyone here had as serious an expression as Mu Qianxiang. Shui, do you know where that thing landed? Do you have any leads? Chen Xiang asked. After the colorful Jinx appeared, Long Shui immediately used the heaven tour to follow. It hasn't descended yet. This thing is very strange. It actually circled around the spirit formation, and it seemed to be gathering its power. Long Shui said, "This colorful Jinx is outside the barrier. He should be from very far away. I can't see what kind of energy is condensed inside, but the thing outside is definitely the rainbow sky fire. Right now, it is circling around this huge sacred ground, absorbing a large amount of immortal energy to strengthen itself." At this time, the sky had already darkened and from time to time, a rainbow light would flash across the sky. Colorful Jinx mischievously flew randomly in the air. The patriarch of Mu clan, Mu Tianhu, stood on a stage in the plaza and said loudly, "Everyone should have known about this since young, so I won't say too much. Furthermore, we have done the related training every once in a while, and now we will do the training. The people below Immortal Monarch should go into the depths to take refuge first." Very quickly, a large group of people walked out from the plaza, leaving behind a few hundred people with the strength of Immortal Monarch. Mu Qianxiang was a Immortal Monarch, so she was also here. Only now did Chen Xiang realize that Mu Qianxiang was the only female in the Immortal Monarch, and it could be seen that female experts were very rare in this place. "Qianxiang, take Chen Xiang to another place to seek refuge. The more than 10 outstanding disciples are all at that place. You should know where it is," Mu Tianhu said. But do you really not need my help here? My strength should be able to withstand some of the power of the natural disaster." Mu Qianxiang asked softly. She also wanted to contribute a bit. "No need, take him to that place to seek shelter as soon as possible." Mu Tianhu's voice became strict. Mu Qianxiang did not dare to say more. He dragged Chen Xiang along as if they were flying and ran towards the back door of the Mu clan, entering a gigantic stone mountain. "The colorful Jinx has landed. It's huge, as big as a city, and is pretty close to here. Should we go take a look?" Long Shui asked. "What if that thing explodes? Wouldn't that be courting death?" Chen Xiang said. He never thought that the moment he came to this place, he would be met with such misfortune, one that was rarely seen in 10,000 years. "You won't die easily, the profound wood diamond armor on you should be able to protect you," Long Shui replied. "If it's not possible, I can use some of my power to help you withstand it." If he wasn't confident, Long Shui wouldn't have sent Chen Xiang to die, and for Long Shui to send him there, it was obvious that she was very curious about the colorful Jinx. Chen Xiang, who was being pulled away by Mu Qianxiang, suddenly stopped, and pulled Mu Qianxiang over to his side. "What are you doing?" Mu Qianxiang frowned. "The colorful Jinx landed on the ground, and has not exploded yet. They are obviously gathering their power. I want to go and take a look," Chen Xiang said. "You knew that the colorful Jinx had landed." Mu Qianxiang's face was filled with suspicions, but she still said resolutely, "You cannot go. If you go near that thing, you will die. There are records in the ancient books that someone once tried to get near to the colorful Jinx to destroy it, but if you go near it, you would mysteriously die. That colorful Jinx has a very powerful devouring force. As long as you get near it, No matter how strong you are, your entire body's power will be devoured. But you're not afraid, your power is in that mysterious dantian of yours, it's very hard to devour it. Long Shui said. I'm not afraid. I need to go take a look. You go take refuge there first. Chen Xiang said as she released Mu Qianxiang's hands. Stepping on the shrinking step, she traveled through SP, AC and SP, AC, and in a few moments she was already gone. This speed caused Mu Qianxiang to be extremely surprised. Even if she wanted to chase after him, she did not know where he had gone to. This brat, don't die. Mu Qianxiang scolded. She was angry in her heart. Chen Xiang actually did not listen to her, and went to do such a foolish thing. Mu Qianxiang was helpless. He could only run to the place of refuge. The closer he got to that place, the more familiar Chen Xiang felt that power. Wasn't this the aura of my super strong robbery power that I tried to kill several times when I was at the Nirvana Doom? Chen Xiang said in shock. But this kind of robbery power is extremely terrifying. People with Nirvana Doom definitely cannot trigger it. Shui, do you know what's going on? Chen Xiang asked. This seems to be a scattered immortal tribulation. If it's really like this, who knows how many people this guy killed? Long Shui seemed to have thought of something, and shouted, Wait a moment, quickly enter the rainbow-colored tribulation cloud, and take the robbery power holy core away. Chen Xiang had already seen the seven-colored ball of light. It was as tall as a huge mountain and extremely huge. From afar, it looked as if it was formed, and released waves after waves of bright, seven-colored light. The waves of the terrifying robbery power made it hard for people to breathe. Chen Xiang had already seen the seven-colored ball of light. It was as tall as a huge mountain and extremely huge. From afar, it looked as if it was formed, and released waves after waves of bright, seven-colored light. The waves of the terrifying robbery power made it hard for people to breathe. When Chen Xiang saw this seven-colored ball of light, he couldn't help but think of retreating. He felt that if this seven-colored ball of light just one hit him, it would be able to blast him into pieces. What's with the scattered immortal calamity? Chen Xiang braced himself, endured the intense feeling of fear, and continued to rush towards the rainbow ball of light. This thing is not some calamity fiend, it's a bunch of calamity clouds, mainly aimed at people like the scattered immortal. Long Shui said. Scattered immortal formed a heaven pellet at the same time as failing the ninth nirvana tribulation. His soul and strength were all inside the heaven pellet, and then he used the heaven pellet to absorb the spirit energy of the heaven and earth to rebuild his body. Isn't Yen Xylan the same as well? Chen Xiang thought about the elegant and Xylan immortal fairy. However, her soul is very special. She can gather energy, she can use her soul to cultivate for 10,000 years, then reconstruct her body, cultivate the heavenly pill once more, and then mysteriously become an immortal. Therefore, she cannot be considered a scattered immortal, and situations like that rarely occur to her. The situation in scattered immortal is also very rare, but it is much more than the situation with Yen Xylan. Long Shui said, after the 9 nirvana tribulations fail, the heaven pellet condensed at the same time meant that he did not die. As long as he succeeded in reconstructing his body, he would become a scattered immortal. Scattered immortal is very scary, especially the tribulations that they encounter every so often. It is said that there are a total of 49 of these tribulations, and every time they cross this tribulation, they would gain a lot of strength. If they fail, they would die, and the robbery power would increase again and again. However, this fellow seems to be experiencing at least 30 tribulations. He hid here to cultivate, causing the 9 clans to suffer. After Chen Xiang digested all of these things, he said in shock, Then how strong is this guy? He's very, very strong. The Bai Shan Yue probably isn't his match. The 3 tribulations of the scattered immortal is equivalent to the late period of human immortal. The 6 tribulations are equivalent to the late stage of the immortal monarch, and the 9 tribulations are equivalent to the late stage of the immortal king. Think about it yourself. Long Shui said. No wonder every time he appears, he would cause a large group of people to die. This guy is truly guilty. Chen Xiang was extremely surprised. The 9 tribulations of the scattered immortal was equivalent to a late-stage immortal king, and these 30 tribulations had already far said the level of a late-stage immortal king. What if the scattered immortal is able to overcome the 79 tribulations? Chen Xiang asked again. Then I can directly become a saint. Very powerful. Long Shui said. Previously, Chen Xiang had heard from the White Tiger that there was some holy demon beast, who was a powerful existence which far said the immortal king. What realm after the immortal king was, even the immortal kings did not know, only knowing that the immortal king still had a long way to go before they could enter the holy palace. So this guy is a human? Chen Xiang slowly approached the rainbow-colored tribulation cloud. He wanted to go in and take the robbery power holy core inside away. Of course it's a human. The demons in the scattered immortal form are even fewer than humans, and it's not a 7-colored tribulation. Long Shui sighed somewhat sorrowfully. In the future, I will also face this kind of annoying tribulation. You too. Chen Xiang had thought that the Imperial Dragon Clan's Emperor Dragon would be able to grow to its peak without any calamity. Of course, when our Imperial Dragon Clan grows up to a certain stage, he will face the Heavenly Dragon Tribulation, and only after crossing it will he become a Heavenly Dragon. For example, the current Imperial Dragon Clan has never crossed the Heavenly Dragon Tribulation, otherwise he would be even more powerful. Long Shui disdainfully said, seeing that guy's cowardly look, he does not have the guts to try. He planned to boil a sky dragon, in any case. He is considered relatively strong in the heaven realm. Don't look at how easy it was in front of me. I'll have to work hard at the later stages, especially when I'm transforming into a heavenly dragon. It's as hard as becoming a scattered immortal tribulation. There are many times a heavenly dragon tribulation. Long Shui muttered. From the looks of it, she hated the sky dragon tribulation. Chen Xiang released his profound wood diamond armor and entered the rainbow-colored tribulation cloud. On normal days, it would look like a ball, but when he got closer, he realized that it was indeed just clouds and mist. What's the use of the robbery power holy core? Using a spatial travel, Chen Xiang arrived at the center of the SPAC. He had already seen a fist-sized, rainbow-colored bead. The Rainbow Saint Force is inside. Although it's only a little bit, it's enough to increase your strength by a lot, and it's also enough to give you a good foundation for entering the Saint realm in the future. Furthermore, this piece is so big, it should have been condensed with immortal energy for a long time. Long Shui said. Back then, some ancestral dragons often did this as well, and often followed a few scattered immortals. When they encountered the tribulation in the scattered immortal, they would steal their colorful sacred core and give it to a few small dragons to use. Of course, this is very dangerous. Your luck is good. Many of the colorful sacred core that went to scattered immortal were fighting for it, fighting to the death, and during the battle, all of them died, so the one that does not get affected will be the, which is better than Nirvana Doom. Long Shui said. Chen Xiang grabbed onto the colorful sacred core, only feeling that it was a little warm. After he picked it up, he immediately placed it inside his Yuyao ring. Shui, how about I give it to you? It's not much use to me, you keep it. Long Shui was secretly moved. Even the ancestral dragon from back then thought of this as a treasure, but Chen Xiang wanted to give it to her for her to use. Hurry, let's go find that wild girl. I've already used my divine soul to follow her. The tribulation cloud that has its colorful sacred core harvested will still need some time to condense. Long Shui said. Chen Xiang quickly distanced himself from the 7-colored tribulation cloud, and at the same time, heaved a sigh of relief. Following Long Xue's guidance, he went to find the place where he had hidden Mu Qianxiang. Now that the colorful sacred core has been taken away, even if it has been newly condensed, it would still be very small, probably the size of a grain of rice. As a result, the robbery power is very weak. Long Xue said, "How about I go back and squat on the side? Maybe if he fails, I can go pick up something." Chen Xiang said, "Don't go, he can survive until around 30 cycles. His strength is extremely terrifying, and the second time colorful sacred core's robbery power is very easy for him." Long Xue said, "Right now I do not know if that guy is good stuff, but from the looks of it, he is hiding here to harm people. He is probably not a good person." Chen Xiang felt that this place was becoming more and more unfathomable. To think that there would actually be such a powerful fellow hiding in this place. He had ran for more than 6 hours and finally arrived at the bottom of a huge mountain. There was a stone door in this place, and Mu Qianxiang and a few Mu clan geniuses were hiding inside. Chen Xiang forcefully pushed at the stone door, but was unable to open. Chen Xiang forcefully pushed at the stone door, but was unable to open. It seems like it's impossible to enter using a normal method. Chen Xiang could only use the power of the spatial laws to pass through the stone door. The stone door was very thick and Chen Xiang was almost unable to pass through it. He was now inside the door. It was a pitch-black tunnel. He released his divine power to check ahead and quickly knew that he had reached the bottom. The rocks on this mountain are very stu, rdy, and there is even a formation. It seems like those people were really afraid of the scattered immortals' tribulation. In order to protect some good seedlings, they would not hesitate to build such a place of refuge. Long Xue said, "The divine power that Chen Xiang and Chen Xiang had released to investigate was suddenly blocked by a powerful force. It seems like there's a layer of spirit formation inside. The protection is very thorough." Long Xue said, "The place to seek refuge was deep under the mountain in the middle of the mountain. When Chen Xiang arrived at the center of the mountain, he saw a vertical hole leading downwards into the depth. Chen Xiang jumped down, and in a moment he was at the bottom, and there was some light plus ning through from the cracks of a stone door. They are inside. There are quite a few of them. It seems that this is the joint establishment of the 9 clans." Long Xue said. Chen Xiang walked to the door and easily pushed it open. He immediately saw the huge underground room, which was filled with warm rays of light, and a few tents at the side of the underground room. There were also some people walking around or chatting in groups of 3 or 5. The moment the door was pushed open, everyone inside looked over and saw an unfamiliar face. "Elder Brother Shun!" Mu Qianxiang shouted in shock. Originally, no one recognized Chen Xiang, but hearing Mu Qianxiang's shout, they immediately understood that he was the outsider, and even gifted the Mu clan patriarch a longevity fruit. Although he was temporarily staying here to prepare to enter the Samsara Valley, everyone thought that he would probably stay here forever, because it was impossible for him to leave the Samsara Valley. Mu Qianxiang was very curious as to why Chen Xiang would come here. Previously, Chen Xiang had said that he would go and take a look at the colorful jinx, but he didn't expect him to return so quickly. She did not ask anything because there were a lot of people here. The young elite disciples of the 9 clans were all here, and including some important young elders, there were also several hundred people. Mu Qianxiang said in a low voice, "That guy is also here, ignore him, follow me." Chen Xiang had already seen Han Chen, and Han Chen was staring at him angrily. His strength and talent could also be considered to be at the top, and was only slightly inferior to Mu Qianxiang's, but before this, many people thought that Mu Qianxiang would very likely marry him after he matured. Mu Qianxiang was worried that Chen Xiang would clash with him, and immediately pulled him towards his own tent. "Ah Chen, this is the guy that destroyed your celestial sword. Do you want us to help you get it back?" A tall young man walked over and patted Han Chen's shoulder. It's just that he's relatively rich. Who knows, maybe he rubbed the immortal sword away from you because he had some sort of treasure, seeing that he casually took out the longevity fruit S. He should be able to give you a middle-grade immortal sword as compensation. They were all Han Chen's friends. Let's go. Seeing Mu Qianxiang holding onto Chen Xiang's hand, Han Chen's eyes turned red. His heart was filled with an indescribable rage. Chen Xiang squeezed Mu Qianxiang's hand with a bit of pressure, then looked towards the approaching Han Chen. It's up to you, this is your territory, it's not good for an outsider like me to do anything here. When the young elders of the Han family saw this, they did not stop them, because when Chen Xiang came here, the only benefits were the Mu clan and the Chu family. Those experts were all outside preparing to deal with the seven-colored tribulation cloud's robbery power, and the strongest in this place were only the young elders. The late-stage immortal monarch did not even have a single immortal king. Han Chen, are you targeting him? Mu Qianxiang immediately stood in front of Chen Xiang with a stern expression. He destroyed my celestial sword, you should know that I want him to compensate me. Han Chen looked at Chen Xiang viciously. He had already forgotten that he was the first one to make a move and Chen Xiang had merely counterattacked. You attacked him first. You attacked him for no reason at all. You were the one who brought harm to the immortal sword. Mu Qianxiang said coldly. Some of the spectators had already surrounded them. They also wanted to see how Chen Xiang had actually destroyed that person's immortal sword. Han Chen did not dare to provoke Mu Qianxiang, since Mu Qianxiang's strength was at least on his level. Even he and the dozen or so helpers behind him were not her match. You want to stand behind a woman? Don't you have the dignity a man should have? If you have the guts, then stand up and don't hide behind a woman. Han Chen purposely said it out loud, trying to embarrass Chen Xiang, because this was indeed a very embarrassing thing. However, Chen Xiang was born with thick skin. Even if the number of spectators increased by 10 to 100 times, he would still not feel any pressure. Everyone originally thought that Chen Xiang would immediately stand up, but who knew that he actually had a thick smile on his face. If it's only a verbal exchange, I'll accompany you at any time, but if you want to fight, then I'm sorry, I can't beat you guys by myself. I solemnly declare here that I will never compensate you for that immortal sword. Han Chen was enraged and shouted, Coward, quickly come out. Chen Xiang shook his head. I gave them a protection fee. The Chu family took my 80,000 spiritual crystal, and the Mu clan took 20,000. They all promised me that they wouldn't be troubled here. Mu Qianxiang immediately said, That's right, his cultivation is not as high as yours, you just have to let people fight with you, aren't you clearly picking on him? I'm currently in Immortal Monarch, if you dare touch him, then don't blame me for being impolite. If you have the guts, come at me. You are a woman. If you were a man, even if you were an immortal king, I would still fight you to the death. Han Chen sneered. Xiao Xiang, get out of the way. Chen Xiang suddenly sighed, causing him to be secretly happy. Mu Qianxiang frowned, he was unwilling, but he still stood at the side. Chen Xiang took out a immortal sword. It was a middle-grade sword, and much better than the one that Han Chen had. You should have done that long ago. Han Chen's heart became excited. He could tell that the middle-grade immortal sword in Chen Xiang's hand was much better than his. He felt that he had earned a lot more. Just as Han Chen walked over and extended his hand to receive it, Chen Xiang suddenly groaned. One hand grabbed onto the sword tip, while the other grabbed onto the sword hilt, using all his strength to break it. Hearing the loud and clear cracking sound, everyone was stunned. They previously did not believe that Chen Xiang's strength could destroy a mid-grade immortal sword, but they had never expected that they would see it with their own eyes, and that mid-grade immortal sword was even better. Han Chen's face froze, his entire person frozen in place, and he even extended his hand out to catch it. Chen Xiang laughed coldly. I've said it before, I will never compensate you. Even if I had it, I wouldn't give it to you. Even if I were to dispose of it as garbage, I won't return it to you. On one hand, he was surprised that Chen Xiang had destroyed such a good immortal sword. On the other hand, he was surprised at Chen Xiang's strength, so much so that he did not reveal a single bit of innate qi, and directly broke a good quality middle-grade immortal sword, which meant that Chen Xiang was very strong, at least not as weak as he appeared to be. On one hand, he was surprised that Chen Xiang had destroyed such a good immortal sword. On the other hand, he was surprised at Chen Xiang's strength, so much so that he did not reveal a single bit of innate qi, and directly broke a good quality middle-grade immortal sword, which meant that Chen Xiang was very strong, at least not as weak as he appeared to be. At the moment, Han Chen was only a few points of anger, the muscles on his face were twitching, and his fists were clenching tightly. Back then, you almost killed me with that sword strike of yours. After that, not only did you not apologize to me, you even rationally ordered me to return that intermediate-grade immortal sword of yours. Dream on. Chen Xiang's voice was cold. He casually threw away the two halves of the middle-grade immortal sword, as though he was throwing away trash. In his eyes, middle-grade immortal swords were trash to begin with. He had quite a few divine weapons, so of course he wouldn't be interested in this sort of trash. However, in this place where resources were scarce, it was extremely precious. At the same time, they were also shocked by Chen Xiang's rich and imposing manner. B-A-S-T-A-R-D Han Chen roared, his fist fiercely punching out. In an instant lightning flashed and thunder roared, the violent lightning on his fist flickered. In that moment Mu Qianxiang also shouted in shock, but she was too late to stop it. She did not expect Han Chen to release such a powerful attack the moment he appeared. When everyone saw Han Chen's punch, it brought out tens of thick bolts of lightning, causing them to immediately dodge far away. This was because this was the Han family's very famous Thunder Brilliance Fist. In the instant when everyone dodged, they also saw a terrifying bolt of lightning charge towards Han Chen's fist. Chen Xiang also made his move. He had been prepared for it. The moment Han Chen punched, all the innate qi in his body immediately activated, condensing into lightning energy with the fastest speed possible and gust plussing out from his fist. Chen Xiang's fist did not only contain the berserk thunder and lightning energy, he also had the power of his fleshly body brought about by the body of heavenly sage. Boom, boom, boom. The two fists clashed, and a burst of strong light and a few arrays of rumbling sounds exploded outwards. Chen Xiang and that Han Chen were both blown away. It was just that Han Chen was sent flying, and when he landed, he rolled over 30 meters away, but Chen Xiang just stood there steadily. The light ray disappeared, and everyone used their stinging eyes to look at Han Chen, who had an ugly expression on his face. The hand Han Chen struck out earlier was trembling. It was full of cracks and had been burnt black by the strong lightning. The Chen Xiang, who had already entered the intermediate stage of the worldly immortal stage, would even dare to fight with his life on the line against the immortal monarch, not to mention the Han Chen of the late period of human immortal. This is the second time you've tried to kill me. Chen Xiang's face turned gloomy. Everyone could feel his dense killing intent. At the same time, the young elders of the Han family all surrounded Han Chen, preventing him from killing them. Just a moment ago, he was hiding behind Mu Qianxiang and said that he couldn't beat her. But who knew that he would heavily injure Han Chen the moment he attacked? Han Chen had actually used the thunder power, but Han Chen had actually been defeated by the thunder power that she was so proud of. Chen Xiang did not have any deep grudges with the Han family, it was just that Han Chen had a conflict with him, so he would not be so ruthless to kill him. If not, Han Chen would have already died. Mu Qianxiang pulled Chen Xiang into the tent. She also didn't want to have any greater conflicts here, as it wouldn't benefit anyone, let alone the current situation. Scoundrel, you've been hiding your strength so deeply. Mu Qianxiang looked at Chen Xiang reproachfully. I was worried to death just now. I didn't expect you to be so powerful. One punch was all it took to beat Han Chen up to the point that his temper disappeared. Humph, I thought you weren't that powerful and I wasn't on guard against you at all, but now that I think about it. Thought about the matter of him sleeping on the same bed as Chen Xiang previously. At first, she thought that she had absolute strength to suppress Chen Xiang and wouldn't let him do whatever he wanted. But now that she thought about it again, her heart couldn't help but tremble, because she now knew that Chen Xiang was very strong as well, and wasn't as easy to deal with as she had imagined. Do I look like a bad person? Chen Xiang chuckled. If I had been up to no good with you, you would have. Seeing Chen Xiang's evil smile, Mu Qianxiang pinched Chen Xiang's arm. No matter how you look at it, he doesn't look like a good person. When he thought about how Chen Xiang broke the middle-grade immortal sword, Mu Qianxiang was also extremely angry in his heart. You are such a waste. You destroyed such a good immortal sword just to anger Han Chen. Isn't it just a broken immortal sword? Chen Xiang said in disdain. Elder brother Shen, tell me honestly, were you a disciple of a super great power in the 9 days outside? Mu Qianxiang asked, because Chen Xiang was very generous, and did not even put the middle-grade immortal sword in his eyes. A mid-grade immortal sword was still very precious. Even a prince like He Feng would not waste such a precious treasure. No, let me be honest with you, I am actually a leader of a great power. Chen Xiang said seriously. I don't believe that, if you were a leader, you would at least be an immortal king, but you don't have the strength of an immortal king. Mu Qianxiang stuck out his tongue. All you know is to lie to me. Chen Xiang said with a serious face. In the future, when you go out and ask for my name, you will know how powerful I am. I have many enemies outside. You must not tell anyone that you are very familiar with me, otherwise it will be very dangerous. Really? Seeing Chen Xiang's serious face, Mu Qianxiang started to believe him. Yes. Chen Xiang nodded. Oh yeah, did you see that colorful jinx? Mu Qianxiang asked again. Previously, when Chen Xiang suddenly ran away, he was to see the colorful jinx. I see him, but I'm back. It looks like I have to leave this place quickly. Someone from Colorful Jinx brought him here on purpose, and that guy is very strong. Chen Xiang said in a serious tone. How did you know? Over the years, many experts of the 9 clans didn't understand. You actually knew that after this matter, you must tell my great-grandfather. Mu Qianxiang said. Of course, I need to go into seclusion to cultivate for a period of time. That colorful jinx will need a period of time to explode, so you can help me protect me from here. Chen Xiang took out the colorful sacred core and held it in his hand. Mu Qianxiang sent a sound transmission to Chen Xiang. Elder brother Shen, after this matter is over, I will bring you to a place where there are immortal fruits that can help you become stronger. And don't worry. I will definitely bring you out. I feel that the outside world cannot lack a wild girl like you. Chen Xiang laughed. He had already known that Mu Qianxiang had a fortuitous encounter, if not she would not have progressed so fast. It won't be destroyed by the colorful jinx, right? Chen Xiang was a little worried. No, that place is very safe. After the 7-colored tribulation ses, I will take out some immortal fruits for my great-grandfather to leave with you. My great-grandfather will agree. As Mu Qianxiang said till here, she felt a little sad. This was something she had been hesitant about all this while. Don't worry. Sooner or later, you will be able to reunite with him. As long as you can become an expert, Chen Xiang said. He knew that it would be difficult for Mu Qianxiang to make this decision. I can definitely do it. Mu Qianxiang was very confident. Go cultivate then, I'll stay by your side. Mu Qianxiang saw a rainbow pearl in Chen Xiang's hands that looked very similar to the colorful jinx, but she didn't ask. She suspected that it was an energy stone dropped by the colorful jinx, similar to the spiritual crystal. Activated his cultivation technique, and quickly absorbed the energy inside the colorful sacred core. Although the colorful sacred core was small, the energy it contained was extremely vast. The moment Chen Xiang activated his divine arts, he immediately felt a large amount of seven-colored energy entering his body. Very quickly, it turned into a seven-colored innate qi, entering into his dantian and into the five-beast statue. What's going on with this seven-colored innate qi? Chen Xiang was very surprised, but it did not affect him at all. Don't worry, the seven colors will slowly merge together. Colorful sacred core must be very powerful. Long Shui said. Yes, there is a lot of energy inside. Originally, it was only the size of a grain of rice, but after refining it, once it enters the dantian, it immediately becomes the size of a watermelon. Chen Xiang said. This way, the amount he could absorb was huge, allowing him to quickly strengthen his heaven pellet. After more than 10 days, Chen Xiang was awoken by a burst of violent trembling, while Mu Qianxiang sat at the side with a solemn face. It has begun. It used to be within 7 days. Who would have thought that it would only start after the 16th day? Mu Qianxiang sighed helplessly. I think a lot of my superiors will die. If Chen Xiang had not taken away the colorful sacred core, it would have happened within 7 days. There are quite a few people here. It should be packed. Long Shui said. Chen Xiang walked out of the tent and saw that quite a few tents had been set up. There were even some that were extremely huge and luxurious. Come in quickly, don't go out and cause trouble. Mu Qianxiang pulled Chen Xiang back, and her finger arts told her that Chen Xiang was very good at causing trouble. Who are these people that came in here? Chen Xiang asked. Some of the wives and children of big figures would try their best to make their favorite wives and children hide here. As for my father, he has only brought in 8 women, and the others are probably the ones he's tired of and will probably die on. Mu Qianxiang said. How is your training progressing? Mu Qianxiang asked. Nothing much, it's only been 10 days, what effect can it have? Chen Xiang shook his head and laughed. He looked at the colorful sacred core in his hand, but it did not lose any luster at all. If it's me, then it's effective. Mu Qianxiang smiled proudly. My cultivation is very fast and also very stable. Was also very curious about Mu Qianxiang's cultivation method. It was all other people's secret, and normally they would avoid other people from getting hot, but Chen Xiang felt that he was very familiar with Mu Qianxiang, so he was not worried and directly asked, How do you cultivate, is it only you? Seeing Chen Xiang being so concerned, Mu Qianxiang laughed. Elder brother Chen, right now you are in urgent need of increasing your strength, you are already very strong yourself. Seeing Chen Xiang being so concerned, Mu Qianxiang laughed. Elder brother Chen, right now you are in urgent need of increasing your strength, you are already very strong yourself. With my current strength, I'm nothing in this world. Your great-grandfather is very powerful, able to kill me with a single palm. Chen Xiang had many enemies in the outside world. If he could improve his cultivation here, then when he leaves this place in the future, he won't feel so much pressure outside. My cultivation method is only suitable, but Mu Qianxiang said, then sent a sound transmission to Chen Xiang. Wait until I bring you to that place, maybe you'll be able to train a little faster inside. What the hell is that place? Chen Xiang was extremely curious, because Mu Qianxiang was extremely mysterious. Whenever he brought up this matter, he would send a sound transmission to prevent anyone from finding out. At that time, I was only a little over 10 years old. I realized that place was only a few years old, and could make me into a immortal monarch. At that time, I will take you there to find out. Mu Qianxiang patted Chen Xiang's head. Then what about Han Chen? Chen Xiang asked. He had been cultivating for the past 10 days, so he was not clear about what was happening outside. What can he do? He doesn't dare to come again. Without absolute strength, he doesn't have the courage to act arrogantly in front of you. His brain isn't damaged. Mu Qianxiang chuckled. Your attack is quite heavy, let the Han family use up a lot of precious medicine to help him recover his arm. This is also called heavy. If it was outside, I would have killed this guy who came to cause trouble for me all day long. Chen Xiang snorted. He was no joke now. Although the colorful sacred core was taken away by Chen Xiang, the robbery power that was released from the newly formed colorful sacred core was not weak either. Judging from this level of activity, it was very likely that a lot of the higher-ups would die. This was also a last resort. 3 days had passed, and the atmosphere had calmed down. Those who were here received the notice and were allowed to go up now. Chen Xiang and Mu Qianxiang were at the very front. After they flew through the tunnel, they realized that the huge mountain they had been standing on was no longer there. So powerful! Chen Xiang exclaimed in his heart. Originally, this place was surrounded by huge stone mountains, but now it had become a flat ground with steam rising from it. Back to our town. Seeing how the place he grew up in turned out to be like this, Mu Qianxiang's heart couldn't help but feel a little heavy. At the same time, it also caused her to be extremely worried for her great-grandfather. Very quickly, Mu Qianxiang and Chen Xiang arrived at the town where the Mu clan was. However, this place was no longer the same, only a stretch of ruins. This place was only swept up by the heat wave emitted by the powerful 7-colored heavenly fire and has become like this. I wonder how the heart of the 7-colored tribulation cloud is like. Long Shui said. Is there not a single survivor? Mu Qianxiang ran into a town full of ruins. There were only a few rocks that were resistant to heat that remained, most of the other things had turned to dust in the heat wave. There's someone over there. Let's go take a look. Using his divine power, Chen Xiang detected auras in a relatively large stone hut. Mu Qianxiang anxiously followed Chen Xiang, and when they arrived at the side of the stone hut, they saw an old man with a head full of messy hair lying on the ground, his lower half of his body being pressed down by a huge boulder. Great-grandfather! Mu Qianxiang anxiously shouted, but Chen Xiang had already sent the huge boulder flying. When Mu Qianxiang floated Mu Tianhu, his aura was very weak, and with a single glance, one could tell that he had suffered from a very serious internal injury. I don't know who did it, but his 7 souls and 6 souls are heavily injured and it's very difficult to save them. This is at least someone on the same level as him, and that's why he was able to cause such an injury. Chen Xiang said. This was what Long Shui had told him. Mu Tianhu was the patriarch of the Mu clan. He had lived for many years and his strength was very strong as well, so at this moment he had not completely died, but he was holding on to his breath. He opened his eyes and saw Mu Qianxiang here. Mu Qianxiang was very strong, but her eyes were already moist. Great-grandfather, you're so amazing, you can definitely endure it. Mu Tianhu's aura became weaker and weaker. He said in a low voice, the storage bag in my hands have something that I left for you. Leave this place quickly. Who is it? Mu Qianxiang immediately shouted out in anger. The other 5 clans, including an elder of our Mu clan. In short, leave quickly. Otherwise, if they come to find me, even you will die. Who will avenge me in the future? Mu Tianhu was very excited. He forced out a breath of air and spoke loudly. Take the 5 clans. Great-grandfather, you must tell me. Mu Qianxiang held Mu Tianhu's hand tightly. She had lost all her tears, and felt endless hatred and anger afterwards. Except Mu, Zhao, Ji, and Li. Mu Tianhu used up all his remaining strength and closed his eyes. His body immediately became extremely stiff and then slowly shriveled up, before finally turning into a cloud of smoke and dissipated. Someone's coming. Chen Xiang immediately grabbed Mu Qianxiang and quickly left the place. Chen Xiang brought Mu Qianxiang to the edge of the barrier, and only these places were not destroyed. Currently, in this sacred ground there were heavy casualties. Previously, Chen Xiang had planned to inform the patriarchs of the 9 clans about the scattered immortals' calamity after coming out of the cave, but he was afraid that things were not going well. Chen Xiang guessed that Mu Tianhu definitely had something that those people wanted to take care of in their hands, or maybe Mu Tianhu was threatening them in some way, which made it hard for them to be at ease. Inside a cave, Mu Qianxiang sat on the ground, holding her knees as she stared blankly at the fire. Her face was filled with grief, and her pair of beautiful eyes were a little red and swollen. Xiao Xiang, I hope you'll forgive me. Chen Xiang sighed, and handed over a piece of roasted beast meat to Mu Qianxiang. Great-grandfather is the person who treats me the best. Mu Qianxiang took the piece of beast meat and took a big bite. I must avenge him. I will definitely take revenge for this, but not now. Chen Xiang comforted her. What you need to do now is to adjust your mood and not let yourself fall into the endless abyss of hatred. Otherwise, that way, you'll live your entire life in hatred, and your great-grandfather definitely wouldn't want to see you like this. Mu Qianxiang swallowed the meat in his mouth and nodded. I know what to do now. I don't have the strength to take revenge yet. Even if you have the ability, you won't be able to take revenge. Suddenly, a voice came out from outside the cave, causing Chen Xiang and Mu Qianxiang to stand up immediately. Who are you? Chen Xiang shouted. Someone to thank. Someone to thank. Chen Xiang and Mu Qianxiang both looked outside the cave, but then they trembled all over, because unknowingly, that person had already entered. Furthermore, he was sitting next to the fire, eating the beast meat that Chen Xiang had roasted. He was a middle-aged man with a small mustache and wrinkles at the corners of his eyes. However, his squinty smile made him look kind. He wore a clean set of white clothes and his figure looked somewhat emaciated. However, he looked very healthy and lively. He sat there eating the roast meat and said with a smile, "This meat is really delicious, even though I don't need to eat this kind of food to increase my strength. How can you be like this? You haven't even gotten the approval of others and you're still eating randomly." Mu Qianxiang frowned. The meat was originally roasted for her to eat. Chen Xiang tugged at Mu Qianxiang because the person in front of him was very frightening and was not someone Mu Qianxiang and him could deal with. This guy is a scattered immortal. You should know who he is by now. Long Shui reminded Chen Xiang. You just said that you have to thank me. What are you thanking me for? Chen Xiang asked. You should know who I am now, right? I never thought that in this era there would be someone who knows that colorful sacred core can be taken away, so you should also know that I'm a scattered immortal. The middle-aged man smiled. My surname is Duan, and I'm Duan Ming. Chen Xiang said in a heavy voice. After all these years, many people have died under your scattered immortals' tribulation. Don't you feel a bit guilty? Mu Qianxiang started to understand. The guy who was casually eating other people was the one who had attracted the 7-colored sky disaster. I couldn't help it. I was sealed in this place, and in order to escape, I had to increase my strength. In the past, there wasn't a single person above this place. Duan Ming sighed helplessly. Nonsense, our 9 clans have been in this place since ancient times. Mu Qianxiang immediately retorted. Since ancient times, do you 9 clans know what kind of place this is? Your so-called 9 clans are merely descendants inherited from a group of people who mistakenly entered this place and were unable to leave it. Duan Ming said amiably. I came here earlier than you. This is a restricted area of the sacred beast's ancient realm. It is not a sacred place. Although Mu Qianxiang was very unhappy with this Duan Ming was very strong, much stronger than her great-grandfather. Then can you take us out? Mu Qianxiang asked, but she hoped that this guy would bring her to take revenge the most. No, I can only go out by myself. I can't even bring half a person with me, or else I'll only harm myself and others. Duan Ming said. Then why did you say you were grateful to my elder brother Shen just now? Mu Qianxiang said. Little girl, I said I can't take you out, and I also didn't say I can't help you out. Duan Ming laughed heartily. I am grateful to others, and of course I did not say it out loud. He is equivalent to saving half of my life. Chen Xiang said, I won't leave this place until I obtain the beast-slaying method. Duan Ming nodded his head. So you are not a person from here, you came from the outside, that is your goal, your strength is not strong, but you are able to reach here, not bad huh? The beast-slaying method is the sacred art from the cliff in the Samsara Valley. Mu Qianxiang asked. Yes. Chen Xiang and Duan Ming answered at the same time. Honestly speaking, even with my current strength, I am unable to enter the Samsara Valley to see the beast-slaying method. Back then, several powerful holy beasts joined hands to lay a barrier and sealed it, making it difficult to break through. Duan Ming said, Initially, that was also my purpose for coming here, but my luck was bad. I met a very powerful guy, and was sealed here by him, after several tens of thousands of years, and after the seal had loosened a bit, I was able to escape. You can really help us get out. Is it safe? Mu Qianxiang asked anxiously. It's still safe, but you'll have to endure a little pain. Duan Ming looked at Chen Xiang and said, However, this little brother still needs to go find that beast-slaying method. My method can only be used once every 1,000 years. I'll convince him. You don't have to worry about that. Mu Qianxiang was very confident. All right, I'll go and prepare. We'll meet here in a month. Duan Ming took another 2 pieces of roasted meat, and then, under Mu Qianxiang's gaze, he ran out of the cave. This fellow is really... Mu Qianxiang scoffed. He deserves to have been sealed for hundreds of thousands of years. He's not courteous in the slightest. Of course Chen Xiang was happy to be able to get out safely. It was just that he had not obtained the beast-slaying method. Elder brother Shen, don't worry about the beast-slaying method. I have it, tonight I will bring you to that place. Mu Qianxiang sent a sound transmission to Chen Xiang. You do. Chen Xiang looked at her in disbelief. Yes. Mu Qianxiang nodded. Then why didn't you tell me earlier? Didn't you know that I went to the Samsara Valley for the sake of the beast-slaying method? Chen Xiang pinched Mu Qianxiang's face. I just want you to stay here for a few more days. If you can accompany me until the coming-of-age ceremony, of course I want to leave with you as soon as possible. However, I also want to accompany my great-grandfather. Mu Qianxiang thought of Mu Tianhu and his expression became sad. Is the reason why you are able to improve so fast is because you are learning beast-slaying method? Chen Xiang was becoming more and more curious about the place. There was actually a beast-slaying method inside. Of course not. I had fused with a very strange stone, and only later did I find out that it was a heavenly Dan. My current cultivation was only trying to stimulate the power inside the heavenly pill, and the power inside the heavenly pill is very strange. As long as it is activated by me, not only will it allow me to obtain a very strong power, it will also strengthen my body. Mu Qianxiang said. At night, Mu Qianxiang and Chen Xiang left the cave. Under Mu Qianxiang's guidance, Chen Xiang stepped on the shrinking step and used the power of SPAC, running wildly in the forbidden grounds of Sacred Beast's ancient realm. This forbidden area was extremely large. When the 7-colored tribulation cloud erupted, although many places were destroyed, there were still many places that could be preserved. Chen Xiang brought Mu Qianxiang and ran madly for 3 hours before they arrived at an area with many huge rocks. This place seems to have been severely damaged. Is that place still there? Chen Xiang looked around carefully. This place had also been affected by the robbery power. Mu Qianxiang took out a jade pendant and said, Don't be afraid, that place isn't connected to this place. The jade pendant in her hand suddenly lit up and shot out a ray of red light into the air. A large S of white light appeared there. Mu Qianxiang anxiously pulled Chen Xiang and flew into the ball of white light in the air. Now Chen Xiang understood. That place was actually a hidden SPAC. In that SPAC there was a house. Chen Xiang and Mu Qianxiang appeared within a yard, and in the yard, there was a tree covered with fiery red leaves. The leaves were not big, but they were densely packed together. That is the immortal fruit that I said I would give you. It's like a fire bird, but there are only two. Mu Qianxiang pointed at the two fruits hanging on the tree that were strongly lit by fire, and looked like little phoenixes. That was a phoenix fruit, a medicinal ingredient used to refine pills for the holy level. Chen Xiang had already guessed something. He suspected that this place was left behind by the Dan Emperor, but he was curious who obtained the heaven pellet from Mu Qianxiang. The heaven pellet was definitely not simple. If not, Mu Qianxiang would not be able to become a heavenly monarch in a few short years. The beast slain method is right there, it's a stone tablet. I didn't cultivate it because it doesn't suit me, so there are a lot of good techniques inside the heaven pellet. Mu Qianxiang said. Xiao Xiang, do you know whose heavenly pill is that? Chen Xiang saw the stone tablet that was engraved with many small ancient words. He immediately knew that it was one of the heaven-earth killing method. It's a woman's, not something left behind after death. It's because there are many cultivation methods and memories within, but no soul. Moreover, all the energy within has been erased from my consciousness. Mu Qianxiang said, when I first fused with it, it was so painful that I had to struggle to live, but I managed to hold on in the end. In order to leave this place, Dan Emperor did not even want his flesh. He had not kept his heavenly pellet, so if the pellet Mu Qianxiang had fused with was not his, then who could it belong to? Elder brother Shun, wait for me here. I will go and prepare something for you to eat. Mu Qianxiang had already ran to the tree and plucked the fiery red leaves. This beast slain method required him to fuse with it, so he stuck his palm on it and started to read the contents inside. He already had 3 types of heaven-earth killing method, and after obtaining this beast slain method, he was only missing the last bit to absorb the heaven-earth killing method. While reading the beast slain method inside the stone tablet, Chen Xiang unknowingly entered a state where he no longer had contact with the outside world. Unknowingly 3 months had already passed, and the beast slain method on top of the stone tablet had already entered his brain. The ancient characters on top of the stone tablet had all disappeared as well. When he opened his eyes and stood up, Mu Qianxiang ran over with a plate of food. But what Chen Xiang cared about was not the barbecue on top, but the plate. It looked like a plate, but Chen Xiang felt that it looked like something. He hastily stuffed all the roasted meat on the plate into his mouth, then carefully examined the plate. This is a lid. Long Shui said. Could it be the lid of the divine furnace? Chen Xiang thought the same, as he quickly took out the plate. It suddenly flashed and became smaller, and then matched up to the divine furnace. Chen Xiang suddenly swallowed the meat in his mouth, raised his head and laughed loudly. Right now, he could confirm that the Dan Emperor had once stayed here before. Otherwise, there would not be this lid here. What's this? Mu Qianxiang looked at the small cauldron in Chen Xiang's hands. Something that can be refined through alchemy or smithing. Back then, I took a huge risk just for this small cauldron. Chen Xiang lamented. Elder brother Shun, you know how to refine pills? Mu Qianxiang asked in surprise. Of course I understand, I am very good at pill refining. Heaven Realm has hosted a pill refining compet. 1 time before, and I was only able to win this small cauldron after getting first place in all 3 matches. Amazing, right? Chen Xiang laughed proudly.